Hey, everybody. Welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. We are getting started here tonight with our Spelljammer game. As always, there's a couple of housekeeping things we need to run through, and then we'll get started. So, first of all, welcome to the channel. A couple things about the channel. We play a lot of things on this channel. In light of some of the recent news, I think it's worth highlighting that we do play Dungeons and Dragons. We also play a lot of non Dungeons and Dragons. If you're suddenly curious about what other game systems are like, we play Old School Essentials. We play DCC. I know I've run Lantern Mouse Shredder on the channel once or twice, and I think once actually. We've done some of the other, Kids on Bikes, some of the other indie games, and check us out. That said, tonight we are playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and we are playing the official Spelljammer campaign. This is the Light of Xaryxis that was released, I guess I don't know, back in August, something like that. And we will be playing through session 7, I believe. Yeah, session 7, Trust Issues. So if you like what we do on the channel, a couple things you can do. One, hop in the Discord, follow along. There's usually a watch party in there, and if not, you can chat with some people. We also recruit people to play in campaigns from the Discord. So if you really like what's going on and you want to play in the live community campaign, it is open to anybody. You just jump on in to the Discord, sign up. It is no cost. You have to have a microphone and a stable internet connection, and you just jump in and play some Greyhawk style stuff with the community. It's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough. That's how I got started on the channel. And of course, we do recruit all kinds of games out of there. So, anyways, that's kind of some of the housekeeping stuff. The other thing you can do is give the channel a follow. I know that there's a million channels out there to follow, but we play almost every day. And so if you like our style, you'll get to see all kinds of different games coming on. So, for example, tomorrow is going to be a Temple of Elemental PC. Oh, actually, that's not on this channel. Oops, messed up. Wednesday is going to be Dragonland Shadow of the Dragon Queens. That's going to be run by DM Corey. And then we have Dark Tower, which is a 5th edition um, Goodman Games module that's running on Thursday. Friday is going to be actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be various community campaigns. I can't believe 3 in a row. I just noticed that. That's intense. So, anyways, and then Tuesday, not to be down on Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be quiet over here, but we're going to be simulcasting this other channel called 20 Sides Gaming that is going to be playing Temple of Elemental Evil PC. There's some guy over there who likes to play like retro games. Happens to be the exact same name as the guy who runs this channel, but purely a coincidence. Um, it's a screw around channel. It's a screw around channel. There's a lot of screwing around in this channel, so I'm curious if how much that's going to go to the other channel. Um, you may see some. We may see more cosplay and squid heads and anyways, no, but in all seriousness, that's going on Tuesday. But for tonight, we are playing Spelljammer. So this campaign is the Light of Xaryxis campaign. I've been playing it pretty straight by the book, kind of somewhat as an experiment just to see what it's like to pick up a campaign and just roll it, and especially with really strong players. Learn some things for sure. I've already at the retrospective point, but we have a ways to go. And it's been a lot of fun with this party. Really strong party, really strong group of players, and they make it exciting. So last session, just to give the players a recap, we hit kind of like the inflection point in the campaign. David is like a actual published author. He probably knows like the real term for it. It's not inciting event. That's the beginning. It's not the denouement. That's like the end. It's not not quite the rising action. It's one of those things. It's the muddy middle. That's what they call it. Um,
Let's go with that.
anyways, but anyways, in all seriousness, it's the middle part of the campaign, and the party has discovered a kind of an interesting twist to the situation. And so, the full context of everybody is as a reminder: your home planet, or at least um, Placebo and Ichabod's home planet of Macopia, is currently being drained of its life force by these crystalline vines. You've since learned a couple of facts. One, you learned that those vines were produced by the star Xaryxis, which is the star for the home planet of the astral elves. And the star itself sort of like pulls energy and life out of other planets. It's sort of like this parasitic entity. And the elves that essentially in a way kind of worship the star. It's like the center of their system. They take the seeds from the star and they transport them around to planets to kind of bring light and energy and life back into the planet. I mean, to the star rather. And so you've learned that fact. The other thing that you've learned is that there's a coalition that's being formed in Doom Space. Commander Crux has some inside information. Commodore Crux has some inside information. He's one of your NPCs with you. He knows there's a group trying to form up, and he has a couple connections. You also met a vampire pirate. I'll say it, a vampire, um, vampire captain by the name of Grimzod. And Grimzod also hates the Xaryxian elves, and he was opposing them, kind of like raiding them. He wasn't necessarily part of the coalition or any kind of like group necessarily in that sense, but he was kind of his own fleet that he was using to kind of like harry the ships and open up smuggling lanes, that kind of thing. He recently got wiped out, but he had a crew member on his ship, or personnel, I guess, in the form of Princess Sadali, who would be very interesting to you, or is very interesting to you, because she is a princess of the Xaryxian Empire. I don't think we talked much about that in the session. I think it was kind of a cliffhanger, is like she wants to talk to you and tell you about what's going on. Um, but that's where we left off. And so why don't we just, since it's the halfway point, do a little bit of character interaction or character recap. Don't need to go into anything intense. I'm not going to do a prompt or anything. Just kind of, I guess we'll do this. Just, we'll start with just tell your race, your class. Everybody leveled up. So why don't we share out? Are we comfortable sharing out how our level went, or is that too meta for y'all? What do you think?
Just have to remember.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we'll start with Ichabod. Tell us your class, your race, a little bit about yourself, and what did you pick for your level up?
Sure. I'm David. I'm playing Ichabod, who is a plasmoid bard from the College of Eloquence. He fancies himself a diplomat of Macopia. And for this most recent level up, I was able to select a new spell, and all of my spells for the character thus far have been very damage minimal, more buffing and debuffing, and very much trying to keep in the same flavor of being an orator. But because he's been pushed so far, I did this time around select Shatter as a spell. So I figure if and when he uses it, he will kind of explode vocally in a very loud manner to have the shatter effect. So he's getting a little bit more aggressive. In the beginning, he was almost a pacifist. Now he's a little bit angrier.
Cool. Very nice. And we'll pop on over to your sibling in all ways, Placebo.
I am Robyn, David's sibling, and I play Placebo, Ichabod's sibling. Placebo is a plasmoid monk. Just went up to level 7, and I don't get to choose anything, but I get evasion, so that might help, and stillness of mind. So no more charm or frighten. Well, I suppose I just have to use an action to end a charmed or frightened status. Doesn't say anything about possession though, so you guys just watch out because that could still happen.
Yeah, that was one of the slightly unfortunate events, is that Placebo was possessed by a ghost, and there's no cleric in the party or any other way to like force the ghost out, short of um, dropping the character to 0 hit points. Fortunately, you were on fire, and that worked out. But a slightly frustrating session being possessed. So thank you for playing along with that and destroying the ship as well. So let's pop over.
I did. I destroyed the whole ship.
Look. Technically, you did. You did. Just my ghost made you do it. So let's pop on over to Ryan. So Ryan's playing Koraz. You want to tell us a little about your character?
Koraz is a Thry-Kreen sorcerer of the Aberrant Mind variety. Like the rest of our friends here, just went up to level 7. And I was able to choose a spell. I chose a 4th level spell. So I chose Vitriolic Sphere. And then because of his Aberrant Mind, he's got, which I like to call his wackadoo head. He has access to some psionic spells, and he gets access to 2 other psionic spells at the 4th level, which is kind of cool. And that's Evard's Black Tentacles to continue with the tentacle theme that's going on, and then Summon Aberration, which is kind of cool. I've never had a character with a summoning spell before, so kind of excited to see how that goes.
Oh gosh, yeah. I might have to get some tokens rolling. What's the name of the spell? Summon Aberration?
It's Summon Aberration. So yeah, it allows you to summon, I guess, a Beholderkin, a Slod. Is that a salad? Or Star Spawn?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
I'm good with trading in an Umber Hulk for a slide. Let's do it.
Glad you're on our side.
Oh man, we're gonna have fun with that. I'm gonna have to ask you how the summoning looks when it happens, because I have some thoughts.
Nice.
How you might play that out. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, we will go to Zeph. Alex playing Zeph.
I'm playing Zephistopholes, Thry-Kreen Ranger. Oh, I realize I need to update the overlay where it says we're all level 6. We're level 7. At level 7, I gained... so I am the... I don't know what you call them. Archetype, I guess. I'm the path of the... I don't even know what it's called. The
Swarm Keeper?
Swarm Keeper? That sounds right. And I get this thing called Writhing Tide. So apparently... I've got all my little spawn, my little children. I should probably be doing a better job lifting them up, but this ability allows them to lift me up. And so as a bonus action, you gain a flying speed of 10 feet and can hover. The effect lasts 1 minute or until incapacitated. Looks like you can use it 3 times before a long rest. So I've got that, and I got to choose a new spell. So of course I just always think, what is the spell that I hate the most when I'm DMing? And so I chose Healing Spirit to have the little healing sprinkler, I guess, go off. Man, I hate that spell, but I have it now, I guess.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yep.
It's okay. Y'all needed some healing the last several fights
Yeah.
we've had, so
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
So yeah, I'm down with that. Okay, cool. All right, well then we'll pick up where we left off last time. So essentially, you all make it off the ship. This is Grimzod's ship. His crew had mutinied, and all the vampires that had survived basically just jumped off into space. They don't need to breathe. So I guess they're just going to float around for quite a long time and hope that someone finds them. Sounds like a miserable life. That's what they chose. The ship was destroyed. The ghost, Agony, who possessed Placebo and was sort of like the mastermind of the mutiny, she was released to the afterlife now that her ship was destroyed. It's kind of the real plan. And Grimzod is back. He has we have the princess, we have Crux, and the other thing that I forgot to remind everybody about, that Commodore Crux is really not on board with bringing a vampire. He's sort of like this really strict lawful type character, and pirates and vampires are both bad. So it's like ×2, or squared,
or they cancel each other out.
It could, yeah. There you go. It's like a negative. Yeah, as a positive.
Make a persuasion check.
Anyway, so you were able to convince him, because you've got a pretty charismatic group. You're able to convince him that, like, look, it's the best interest. And so he's going along somewhat grudgingly. He's taking to drinking again, and he has named Ichabod the captain, kind of spur of the moment, just because Ichabod was the one doing the convincing. But Ichabod does have inspirational qualities, and while he may be the least experienced with the ship, He's got a lot of raw leadership skills, so we'll see how it plays. But that is the current situation. Ichabod, you're the captain of the ship, which I've actually forgotten the name of it. What was it? You guys remember the name of it?
Second wind.
Second Wind. Yeah.
The second wind. Yeah.
It was messing me up as the vampire ship is the last breath, and so Second
Right.
Wind, Last Breath. They're kind of like very similar style names. Anyways,
Next ship will be Death's Doorstep.
that's right.
Life's Threshold. Yeah.
All right, very good. So, the last thing you had heard was Princess Zadali was just like, "We should talk," and she just sort of like storms off into the interior of the ship. And to be clear, too, like while she is she was a prisoner, she still has this like air of aristocracy. She's tall, slender. Her clothing is this extremely expensive gown that flows down to the floor. She has this high collar and a fancy kind of like head decoration, like it's a kind of this like metal. It's almost like a necklace for the head, if that makes any kind of sense. Like it kind of goes over her head, but it's like exposed. Whatever. Anyway, so she has like this very like regal air of her. And she did tell you at the end that I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but basically like I think we have shared interests, essentially. And so she was a prisoner, but you get the impression that she's no fan of the other astral elves, or I guess the Xaryxians. And she beckons you into the ship.
So we are back on the second wind. We don't have a destination. We've kind of gotten away from the wreck of the last breath, but we're kind of we're at impulse speed, just kind of floating in the astral sea at this point.
Yeah, so I think you might have just pointed off away from the exploding ship and just kind of blasted off as fast as you could go. But yeah, I think you're probably, I mean, that's up to you guys, but I think last thing was, yeah, just getting away from the explosion was the key goal.
Well, I think Ichabod would probably put the admiral and the commodore at separate sides, different decks, make sure that they're kind of kept busy. He wouldn't necessarily welcome either of them into this next conversation just because he doesn't need any more conflict in the ranks, and then sort of invite the other three shipmates. I know there's a first mate, Hadozi, somewhere as well, but he would welcome the other three party members here to join him as in this conversation with the princess.
Yeah, and Crux will he'll go below deck, but in a different direction. He'll go to the galley, and he will pick up probably go sulk. He's in a sulking mood. Grimzod's gonna stay on the bridge and just kind of like breathe in the air of the ship. I can't breathe actually. He will pantomime breathing, just sort of like, I survive again, of course. And just kind of very proud of himself. And then you all can have your conversation. So are you seeking to converse with the princess or gather together first?
Well, what was that?
Are you going to talk to the princess directly, or do you want to like talk to each other to like coordinate?
Oh, I think if she's saying like we need to talk, I think we would, he would kind of motion for the rest of the group to join them, and they would just follow her to somewhere that's, maybe a little below deck. That, I don't know if there is a captain's quarters or something, or he would probably try to bring them there.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. I think captain's quarters makes the most sense. It's your quarters now anyways. So she'll follow you there, and just sort of like as soon as you all get in the room and close the door, she will say, so I should first start with saying that thank you very much for rescuing me from those vampirates. I did not know what their intentions were, but it's good to be around the living again.
How did they capture you? How did you come to be imprisoned on that ghost ship?
Well, yeah. Do you want the long version or the short version?
We want the version that gives us the best information about the situation because we've been operating on very minimal intel, so maybe the long version would actually be worthwhile in this instance.
Well, everyone take a seat. And so she takes a seat, and she just kind of, crosses her legs, sits upright, good posture, puts her hands on in her lap, and she says, well, it all starts with my father. Uh, you see, my father is the emperor of the Xaryxis, and he is on his deathbed. Uh, what happened is, when he died, he wished for me and my brother to share the throne. My brother's name is Zeleth. It's Xeleth.
And how is the Dolly's name spelled, if you don't mind?
Xedalli. And she'll explain. So my father had a deathbed request. You see, we have somewhat of an affection for their stars, their axis. Somewhat of a traditional view that when you die to achieve godhood as emperor, you must become one with the light. The star must be at its brightest. And so he wanted Xaryxis to be fed before he passed. My brother took opportunity to essentially remove me from the equation as soon as my father fell ill. And so, as a bit of irony, he put me on a star moth, and I was to be deposited on Mucopia when the crystalline vines were to be released, so that my energy would be somewhat provided to help my father ascend. And she almost kind of like spits a little bit. So Zaleth is a scheming political bastard, and he wanted me gone. But so happens, luck was on my side, and my star moth was attacked by that lovely vampirate captain you've met. They boarded, they overwhelmed the guards, found me in the brig, thought I might be an interesting, I guess, piece of negotiation or something. And
Secret weapon. You're the secret weapon.
She looks at you, Placebo. She smiles a bit, and you say that, and she's like, well, I suppose somewhat.
Oh, so you do have value as like a ransom tool for us. Is what you say.
She pales a little when you say that, as like your thousands of little children are like scaring about your body and your 3 scimitars or whatever the heck.
See,
Well,
kids, this is
we
a
are-
cautionary tale. Get along with your siblings. Don't be throwing them on boats and shanghaiing them out in the middle of space. That's just not right.
Well, we are hopeful, Your Majesty, that we can find a better plan than ransom, especially since it seems as though your brother has usurped the throne for himself, and at he would want you for nefarious reasons, and at worst he would say good riddance, and we would keep you. So I'm hoping that you will instead be a powerful ally, again, maybe providing us with the information we need, but I think we need to get to know you a little bit better, because your empire, your particular planet of astral elves, has for centuries thrived off of the destruction of other planets. What is happening to Placebo in my homeworld is just the latest in a long stream. So I I what I, I struggle to think how a race of civilized people could condone such such a parasitic relationship with its neighboring worlds? Have you anything to say in defense of your culture?
She withers a little bit under your impassioned speech and says, "Listen, my father, Emperor Zevan, he was a ruthless man. I will not lie. We did not see eye to eye on how to run a society. As you may know, the Empire of the Xaryxis, our homeworld is with the star, but we have many other homes, other base of operations throughout the astral sea. Our whole society is not on the home world. There are those of us who have advocated to relocate, if only because the Xaryxis is an old dying star. As you say, there is political consequence to keeping it alive. So I don't know what to say other than I am sorry. And
If I'm
that
sorry,
it's not
go
too
on.
late. She cuts you off on purpose. And then it's not too late.
If you then were the sole ruler of your people, would you have the authority to abandon your ancient home world and live on these other worlds that do not require sustenance in the form of the life of other planets?
Yes.
There wouldn't be an
Yes.
uprising. There wouldn't be a faction that seeks to depose you if it were you alone on the throne.
There would always be factions with my brother still alive, but with my father dead and my brother dead, Xeraxian society is very. We follow our traditions. The Imperial Fortress is not even necessarily um, in the home world. It is currently orbiting the star Xeraxis, but it always has lived in the astral sea. So if we remove my father, my brother, and his faction of loyal soldiers, um, I think I will be very well in charge. I'm not the only one who opposes our ways.
DM, clarifying question. I think you said earlier her father was on his deathbed. Has he died since then, or is he
He
still
has
alive?
not. So
Okay.
I think so. The way I phrase it awkwardly, but essentially, when he is dead, with him dead, and with my brother out of the picture, she should be able to. Basically, she's claiming she'll be able to control things.
It seems then if the way to save lives and prevent further death is to the other contestant for power, your brother, who has already tried to murder you. If you are you proposing that if we were to depose of him, and then when your father dies, we can end this tradition? That's my first question. The other question would be: is there anything we can do to save Macopia in the meantime?
Well, I will answer your question. Two questions with one answer. What I propose is that we destroy Xeraxis. If we do this, it will kill all of the crystalline vines that are currently out digesting planets, and it will also destroy uh, the fortress and will free and most of my brothers and father's loyal servants, and will free a path for me to take control. And then the question will be of should we end tradition will no longer be up for discussion.
Want to destroy a star? That's what you're saying?
She looks at you and, like, again, a glint in her eye. Yes, there is a ritual that if a member of the imperial family, probably would be me, if we perform the ritual at the astral font in the Temple of Light, we can destroy the star.
And you just happen to know how to do this?
Me, my brother, and my father.
Huh.
Is there any reason to believe that your brother suspects you're alive? He sent you to Macopia to die. Would he have known of your capture? Would it have been reported during the attack on your star moth?
That's a great question. So I think let me look something up real quick because it may be more than that. Like there may be. Let me just double check something else that happens later, or might happen later.
I'm very surprised they teach a ritual to destroy the sun when it seems like such an important thing for them to be keeping alive.
Maybe it was always intended to be destroyed. Maybe the temptation to misuse it, as they have been doing, maybe that wasn't the intention to begin with, and so it was meant to be destroyed, but they simply kept it going regardless. I do not know enough about the Xaryxian culture, unfortunately. I've studied many worlds, but there are so many factions of astral elves that this one is foreign to me.
Maybe it looks really
Um,
cool when it blows up, and that's why they want to do it.
I'm not complaining if it means freeing our planet and others. It's a very convenient option.
And she'll answer your first question and just say that I don't know if my brother knows I'm alive, but he has great many resources at his disposal. And I will say that if I were in his position, I would be watching closely and making use of the various powers that be to ensure my passing. So if he hasn't found out yet, I'm sure he will find out soon.
Did anyone else survive the attack on your star moth?
No. The vampirates are pretty ruthless, and they have no love for the Xaryxian.
And your anti-crystalline vine approach was well known to your brother, I imagine. Did
It was a
he
point of.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would just say it was a point of argument. Some of us, like I said, we want to abandon the star for good. It's something of an older tradition. But my father is, like I said, he's a traditionalist. And he wanted one more before he passed. He wanted to be taken to the light when it was strongest. I disagreed with him, but he's my father. I will not lie. I would have allowed it.
Well, should be very bright when it explodes.
Yeah, she actually laughs at that and says, well, I hadn't thought of suggesting that.
We might have to kill him right at that time, but Zephistopholes has a knack for that.
Oh, I got a good aim. I could probably make it happen. I'd send him sailing into the sun. Boom.
Yeah, unfortunately, since you were in the brig of the ghost ship, you did not witness the prowess of this crew. We are in fact a pretty battle-hardened crew at this point. We have faced many foes on the way here, and some of us were warriors even before this venture. But my concern is that we have very little chance of getting near this temple of light if your brother in any way suspects that that's where you will go to thwart him, which brings us back to finding this resistance we keep hearing about, these groups of defiers of the astral elves. What I had hoped that maybe you would know where to find them, because no one ever seems to know where to find them.
It's Doom Space, brother.
Doom
Didn't
space.
we find them? Isn't Grimzod? Isn't that them? Wait a minute. Did I? Oh, man.
Oh, that's right. Potential allies in Doomspace. No, Grimzod, I had thought the same thing. His ex-girlfriend, that strange woman with the autognomes, had mentioned him in the same breath as him, and the last breath as this resistance movement. So I also conflated the two. But apparently Grimzod was more just harassing the Xaryxians. But yes, that's right. He told us potential allies lie in Doomspace. So, Koraz, as our Spelljammer pilot, perhaps you should set a course for Doomspace while we discuss our plans. Because unless we think we are stealthy enough to sneak through an entire fleet or defense system of this star system, we will need allies who can hold off the attacks while we sneak through to the temple. Unless, of course, friends, I'm open to other suggestions and ideas of how we might overcome the obstacles before us.
Well, what do you think, Your Highness?
She'll say, well, I mean, I've been in the brig of a ship for the past several days, and my understanding of this coalition is there's some unrest in Doomspace, as there are many places. I think if I had to choose, I would start with the Artox.
That sounds familiar.
I was going to say, would that be something that Koraz is familiar with? Would he be able to, upon hearing that, kind of steer the ship and start heading that direction?
So what I'm going to say is this, because I'm not sure how well I communicated this, having like reread this session and some of the previous sessions. I will say that you know of a couple things about Doomspace that Crux has shared with you kind of over time. He's been a little cagey about it because he's just sort of like doesn't want to like spill the beans. But he's made references that there are a couple different factions in Doomspace. I just activated a Doomspace map. I realized I didn't put it in the lighting though. Hold on, let me fix the lighting. Damn you. Probably
It's
like, what's
doomed.
this? It's Doomspace. It just says black void.
Well, and Placebo was being a little bit like I was being a little bit silly. It would almost be like saying, "Oh, we just have to go to North America and find our allies." Like I was trying to say it as if like just go to Doomspace and they'll be there. So it wasn't that you were not explaining it. I was being intentionally naive about it.
I mean,
So,
clearly they're going to be in the eye of doom, right? Like that's
yeah. Let's go to the Eye of Doom. Actually, sounds fun. No, and Robyn, you're good. What it was that I'm about to say is what I did. What was the problem? So what you would know is that a rune is where the Artox are. Crux has multiple times throughout the trip suggested that he has a friend. Oh my god. Ignore that. Oops. He has a friend in on a rune that is working one of the factions, but there are multiple factions. So Arun is the faction where you see the Artox, and I'm probably saying that a little wrong. Blip, blip, blip. I don't know. Where is it? Is it Artok or Artuk or something like that? Yeah, Artok, whatever. The Artox. These are like weird, like I shouldn't say weird. How offensive are these guys? They are very interesting starfish trees with heads in the center of their starfish. They're alien creatures that are kind of warlike, but they're almost like I'm trying to think. I almost kind of think of them as like hobgoblins. Like they are very organized, communal, kind of lawful evil typically. And they are on a planet. I shouldn't even tell you this. It's a large moon called a rune, and you would have learned this from like talking to Crux. I'm just going to kind of because you probably wouldn't get this out of the princess necessarily. She probably doesn't know a lot about Doomspace, but Crux is a bit more about a rune versus the other spots, and it's home to Tarrasques, multiple Tarrasques, and other smaller life forms that grow in the forest. It's a kind of a forested planet. I mean, forested moon. But we know that's where the Artuks live, and so the Artuks are one of the major like military factions here. That I don't know what to do with the Tarrasques. I guess they fight Tarrasques. That's a good sign. But they are on a rune, and that is where Crux is kind of like he's made a couple times like he's got a connection there. And mostly just sort of like casual conversation. A couple of the other places that would be worth knowing about the let's see what would be interesting. I don't know. I mean, what are there any I mean, I guess like there's several these are basically a bunch of moons. Is probably the way to think of it. So like a rune's a moon, and uh let's see, what else is a moon? Like Lesk is a moon, Gavek is a moon. There's all these moons. They're the 9 moons of In, which is a sort of like titanic gas body. And where is In? I guess In's not on this map. I don't know. Anyways, it's just basically these are a bunch of moons, and in the center is the Eye of Doom, which is like this mysterious like black hole type entity. And you would know that the most probably the promising place to go first would be a rune because of Crux's connections. But it might be worth investigating, challenging that, and then there's a few other spots that you might be interested in going to. So the other ones would be Vault. So Vault is a moon of Firene, and it is extremely dangerous. You don't want to go there. Never mind. Ignore what I was saying. I thought it was important. It was numbered. I was like, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking a different place. Never mind. You know what? I'm probably just gonna fuck all this up. So let's just say there's a bunch of moons, and a rune is the one you know the most about.
Did we have to get this? Was this the map? I'm trying to remember why we went to Tupola.
Yes.
And we got this map from Tupola. Is that what essentially
Yes.
happened? Okay. Because Crux had a lead but didn't know really how to get there.
Yeah. So this is the map that you're seeing from the orrery. So it basically is like mapped out all the different spots in here.
Gotcha.
You don't know anything about them other than just like they're named and like pinpointed on the map. But you have that access. What's that?
Where are we on the map?
So you are floating someplace on the outskirts of Doom Space. I think that's what I had originally told y'all.
Okay.
So you're like right on the edge. All this stuff is in the center, so you're like days away from this part of the map. Like you figure with your knowledge of your Spelljammer helm that it would take you probably 10 days of travel to get to like this area. Oops, sorry, I'm gonna pencil up. Like this area here is probably about 10 days of travel, and this is like the other side from where you're at. So maybe like another, several days to get there.
And am I misremembering? But when we met the vampire guy, Grimzod, didn't he say he was the coalition? Like he kind of was boasting about it, right?
So he was boasting about it, but like upon further investigation, he has a fleet. He had a fleet that he had put together on his own that he was using to like attack the Xaryxians. It was like a half dozen ships or so, and he was not like the coalition,
right? But he did say he was, right? Like I'm not misremembering that.
He may have, and if he did, he was blowing smoke.
Yeah,
kind of like I'm the coalition. Whereas like what Crux's connections and what Crux is like aware of and has some knowledge of is there's like a group of like full on like societies here, not just like a handful of ships, but like planets and moons of people that potentially could oppose.
I mean, it sounds like this Arun place is a good place to start.
Princess, how long do we have before Macopia is beyond saving? It's been days, if not weeks, since we fled our world. I'm worried that if we go traveling throughout doom space trying to find allies, that it may all be in vain anyway.
Yes. The situation is these vines, they usually take several months to fully drain a planet, but if you stop them, they will die and give that energy up to the planet. Won't be bringing people back to life. Don't get me wrong, but um, maybe vegetation is restored, and the people who are struggling and dying to the vines, if we destroy it, they will recover. So, but several months usually.
Well, fortunately, we plasmoids are good at squeezing into small places and hiding, so hopefully there will still be a fair number of our kind left. Visitors to that starport probably won't be so lucky. Uh, what kind of chances would we have to go straight to this Temple of Light in hope of getting there, as a surprise or through stealth? Is that what kind of a chance would we have?
Minimum. But I can't tell you it would be a failure, but I can tell you that I would have a hard time committing to that plan. You have to understand that if we destroy the planet and we destroy the star, we have to gain access to the Temple of Light. This is not something we can sleep into, and the ritual is not something that we can perform in a matter of seconds. We'll need some coverage. Maybe only a few ships, but something more than. And she's kind of gestures to like the second wind. I don't know.
Yes, this is at least our third spell jamming vessel. We go through them quite quickly.
Yeah, we might be breaking the wind soon.
So definitely, I can certainly see the value of putting together a fleet and hopefully having better success than Admiral Grimzod did. So I don't want to beat a dead horse if she doesn't really know much about Doom Space or the coalition of Is it safe to say that the inhabitants of Doom Space are kind of the displaced people of planets they've already destroyed? Would that be something we would conclude, or is it really? I guess what I'm having trouble wrapping my mind is this just there are different disparate groups that don't like the Astral Elves, or is there actually a unified coalition that already exists there? And if so, why are they just sitting there?
Yeah, no. So that's a great question. In fact, you may be getting at a potential thing that maybe some things aren't making sense, and you're starting to wonder, like, what has Crux been telling me? Like, because like you're going off of Crux, saying like there's this group of organized resistance.
Hey, Crux, get in here.
So you go find Crux, and Crux is a handful of sheets to the wind.
Oh God.
He's drinking his ale, and he's just like barely making sense. And yeah, so he's just like in the galley, just drinking when you come in, talking to himself.
We got some questions.
Okay. And he's like, oh, now you care about my opinion.
We care. We just we put it to a vote and you lost the vote. That's all. We're a democracy.
That's right. Say, well, I suppose. So, what are your questions?
So you said there was like a coalition. Is that you're not telling us the whole story?
Oh, he's saying, well, I told you in Doomspace there are many factions that oppose the Xaryxians.
Yeah, but
It's
do
just a
they
matter
all
of
do they all oppose each other then too, or are they friends with each other? Do they talk?
I mean, it's just it's all a matter of perspective. It's like, you see, it's like, well, okay, listen. When I say coalition, what I was saying is that me and my former adjutant, Warwick, there's a comrade in arms of mine. We have been trying to negotiate the factions to get them talking. They all hate the Xaryxians, and their personal beefs with each other are small in the grand scheme of things.
So you would say like the beef you have with Grimzod.
Yeah. Give me will this be an intimidation check? Or will this be a persuasion? I'm gonna say persuasion, even though you're saying it in an intimidating voice.
It's just his normal
It's
voice.
just the way
Are you doing like this thing too? Yeah, so give me a persuasion check. And that's acrobatics. Who's doing that?
I have to turn on I forgot to put on Beyond 20, so it's probably
No
not going to
worries.
come through.
It did, and it was a crit. It was a 23, and you say that, and he kind of like he puts the mug down and he looks at you and just like bleary-eyed, and it almost like shocks him to soberness. It's like, yeah, I don't know if everyone's ever been like drinking and then something really bad happens and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. And you just like snap to. It kind of snaps to a little bit when you say that. And he kind of pushes the mug aside and says, I suppose, kind of like how I feel towards Grimzod. I apologize.
Is Grimzod in the room?
No, Grimzod's on the deck. He's just hanging out, enjoying the fact that he's not dead.
I was going to force him to
Sunday.
like, shake hands or something, but since he's not here,
Let me go get Grimzod. You two have a hug. Hug it out.
So
Grimzod would do it.
if we go to Arun to talk to your buddy, probably he's gonna have a whole task list of people that we gotta go talk to like make amends and mend bridges or whatever metaphor you want to use for they all hate each other and we need to figure out a way to get them to get along.
Well, he's been talking to the Artoks. They're a very powerful group. He's very close to getting that negotiation down. I'm sure if we find him and secure the Artoks, then the rest will follow along. I mean, I don't think it'll be that hard, but certainly could use a ship and another ship for his crew. Give him some validity.
And we have a plan. We have a very good plan.
Your
Yes,
plan.
No, I think the fewer people who know of the plan, the better. We trust you, Crux. We certainly do. But we also know you are a valiant warrior who charges into battle, and prisoners of war are often plied for information, though, of course, we pray that that will not be your fate. But I think you're right, sister. If we can get this first faction on our side, and we will show we have some buy-in, we will have some might behind our claims, and if we can convince maybe and Ichabod's getting kind of excited here as he's thinking about it, we could put together a council where each of the other factions send a representative, and we can reason with them, and they can go their people, and we can see how many will join in a true coalition.
And then we
That
blow
we will.
up the star after everybody.
Yeah, Crux, I think you're gonna like our plan. Given you're always reaching for the grenades, you're gonna love this.
When you hear
I
blow up
could
the star, Crux eyes just like it's like
I could
glint.
see where you would be instrumental in the success of this plan. In fact, Commodore. But could you remind me and perhaps spell the name of your friend on Arun?
So he's gonna I'll spell the name. It's Warwyck. It's Major Warwick. And you'll say, listen, I've been thinking I've been a bit of an ass. And I have a bad history with the Xaryxians. I got a lot of people killed opposing them. I tried to destroy the Imperial Fortress, but my fleet was routed. Warwick was with me, and we have sworn to ourselves that we would find allies. So if you have a plan to destroy the Xaryxian star, I'm on board. He slams the table.
Well, I think we will be continuing the trend of finding and bringing together unlikely allies, including the princess of our enemy, and yes, vampirates. But again, war makes strange bedfellows. So perhaps it was a good learning experience for all of us as we've come along. We've had an Umber Hulk fighting by our side at one point. Rest in peace, Teddy. So I think that again maybe just was a prelude to what is to come. But I think if Arun is our next destination, and it sounds like Major Warwick has made significant inroads with the people there, then that does make sense for it to be our destination, if we are all in agreement.
You guys can feel the ship lurching and turning as that's being said, because he's assuming we're all on board.
The hive mind, he just know.
He knows. Yeah.
And I guess Koraz, if we do meet the Phlogiston Spectre and he is against our enemy, he will be our erstwhile friend. He will be with us in the short term. I need you to be okay with that.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, unless he's the Phlogiston Spectre.
Well,
But I will have you know, he's always showed up with the Xaryxians, so I'm positive that he's on board with evil.
Then he will taste the fiery rage of a dying star.
I gotta write that down. That was good.
Poetic.
Crux a little tear in his eye. Which is why you're a captain.
Yes, who serves beside a commodore and an admiral. Though I do feel, he kind of looks around to make sure Grimzod isn't like lurking. I do feel as though the allegiance we swore to him expired the minute he lost his own vessel, and we saved his life. So we will continue to abide by his rules. We will not eat our crewmates and those other terms of his, but
No hymns? We cannot
Yeah.
sing hymns?
do you know any hymns?
No.
No. So no hymns.
No hymns. Hymns.
Hers?
But
Hers too.
yes.
And no
So we'll
cowardice.
see. Maybe we can find a new ship for Grimzod, or another ship for him to serve on away from us, to spread out our martial might. We don't want to have all our heavy hitters on one ship necessarily.
Let me ask you, Commodore, what do you know of the other factions in Doom Space?
You say, well, been talking to Warwick, and he assures me that as soon as we get the R talk down, that we'll gain access to other allies. There's a group of Hadozi.
Thanks for the ring.
There is a Arakakra crew, or I guess a society.
up?
There's a group of Thrycreen,
Oh,
and I am going to say this wrong. It's Ciceran? Does anyone know how to say that? I'm going to see if I can. It's Ssurran. They're like a lizard folk. They're kind of freaky looking. Anyways, I will say that they're. Well, I won't say anything about them because I just looked up their faction leader, and he has a very concerning name.
Gonna interrupt real quick. Want to give a shout out to Goodman Games. Thanks for dropping in on us, and thanks for the follow, Scottish Jeff. Appreciate that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks for the follow. And for the raid. All right. But anyway, so you'll describe. So basically there's 5 factions that are worth working with. There's more groups that live in Doomspace. Doomspace is kind of like, and I guess Crux would explain that Doomspace is kind of like the place where all the scoundrels kind of hang out, and there's all these societies that are formed up that are a little bit more warlike and kind of a bit more well, they live on the edge. Their center of their system is some kind of a mysterious black hole. Like, it's just a dangerous kind of lawless place. And so a lot of these factions are they're not necessarily bad factions, but they're kind of like very independent. And I think that's the nature of the problem with that's being presented, is like these group of independent factions that we're trying to convince to be friends. Or at least some of them.
their independence probably puts them at odds with the Xaryxians, but also puts them at odds with each other.
Right, yeah. And Crux would kind of, he'd play into that like that's the general problem, is the Xaryxians they control everything, and any groups that try to oppose them are shut down. But Doomspace is full of people with thick blood and powerful incentives and, what am I saying, principles. They're willing to oppose this. I know it.
What has prevented the Xaryxians from staging an incursion into Doomspace and just wiping them out once and for all? Are they just beneath their notice? They don't consider them a threat?
And Crux kind of like, you can tell he's just like off and like not La La Land, but he's just gonna say whatever. Like, he's probably not gonna give you a good answer. You don't even need to roll an inside check. He's like, well, that's because the Xaryxians are fools, and they take the little people for granted. Doomspace is not the biggest system, so they ignore it at their own peril.
Ichabod's mind is racing. He's like, I'm gonna have to write the most kick-ass speech ever to win over all these factions. He's really excited for the first time in a while, but it's probably because it's been at least 3 hours and no one's tried to kill them, so that also contributes to his high spirits.
Well, I mean, we've got a couple more hours before we get there, but yeah, it's nice.
Do we all agree that it might be in our best interest? I guess I'm worried about how the sensitive topic of the princess aboard our vessel. There may be some who wish to harm her simply because of her heritage.
Try to get her so they have an advantage.
Right. So I am.
That is why I think.
Yes.
I think we keep the whole destroying the star thing as our like ace in the hole, and that we just kind of bluff. If we need to, we can like bluff that we have some sort of kind of like what they did, the weapon, the weapon, and we can like mention the weapon and be really like hush hush, need to know about it. If we even need to drop it for leverage. But if we don't need to drop it at all for leverage, I say we don't even. We're just trying to put together a crew to get there and oppose the Xaryxians, and that's it.
I think
and everybody's on a need to know basis.
I think that's a fine plan. Ichabod will approach Placebo and take her tendrils and his tendrils and say, "Sister, it is very important that you do not speak of the princess or of the Temple of Light or the Astral Font to anyone when anyone is in." Yes, we have the 5 of us, 6 counting Crux, who know Grimzod knows, unfortunately, but we will have to swear him to secrecy as well. But I think if we can keep it to just the people on this ship, there's that Hadozi first mate. Crap, there's more than I remember. But if we could,
the tree on the deck.
yes, and the tree.
Oh man!
How about if there is anyone other than this group of everyone who's on the ship right now, you do not speak of the princess, the temple, the ritual, the font, any of those things. We all must take care of the same thing. But sister, sometimes you I think you have trouble keeping a secret. So this may be a challenge for you.
You want to know information, and I feel bad not telling them.
Yes,
but if you're telling me not to share, I will tell them I can't share.
The fate of our world is as dramatic as it seems, may hang in the balance.
Zephistopholes just looks around at his 200 kids. He's like, you guys listening to this? I don't have time to do a one-on-one with all y'all. So, listen up.
Earmuffs. Cover your ears.
Have we considered maybe disguising her? To make it not so obvious that she's a Xaryx, maybe dyeing her hair,
I could give her an extra mask.
Cover up the ears. Yeah, makeover.
I think that is a wise suggestion, Koraz. I think we will try to keep her out of, harm's way and people's notice, but we may need her, or someone may be aboard the vessel and catch a glimpse. So I think that is a fantastic project if you can handle that one, or if we can assign it to someone else.
I'll work.
She might have some ideas too.
Yeah, she'll probably have some say in that. Yeah, I mean, how does it with the spell jamming thing? Am I just stuck in the chair?
So I don't know. That's a great question. I know you have to attune to the chair, and I think the idea was to that you're in the chair like a space captain. But I guess it's it's sort of, you could detach it and move around in places. So
yeah, and I think we said last time I was like Ratfink kind of on top of the
yeah,
ship,
totally. Right? That's 100% what we said, and I don't know. Let me see. Do you need to sit in it?
You can make it into a wheelchair and just kind of zoom around.
I'm imagining Professor X's hover chair, that yellow one from the 90s X-Men cartoon. Just it's just Koraz floating around the ship.
Maybe some of Zeph's kids
I have
will help you out.
a flying spell.
Yeah, I don't think you have to actually be sitting in it, but that seems sort of strange.
Well, and could it really simply be I go sit down, I give the vessel a command to go,
and then I leave it,
and then you can leave, and it's just sort of on autopilot? I mean, do you really got to be sitting there the whole time?
I actually don't think you have to be on. Yeah, it definitely could be autopilot. I think that's totally cool. So the biggest thing is that if you are using it, you have to be concentrating on it. So you can't cast concentration spells while you're actively doing something with it.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Which
I can only use it when I'm on the ship. I can't be
right. Yeah,
come to me.
I will do some digging, but what I'll say is I'm gonna make a judgment call that as you get used to using it, you can kind of like, as long as you're on the ship, you're cool. Hold on, someone's answering for me. Planet Buster. Oh yeah, hey Planet Buster. You can see any spot on the ship from the chair, like it's third person, does not move, and you have to be in it to move ship around. I advise players to hire a pilot for. Okay, so you do have to be in it to fly it. But I'm gonna say you can give it a like autopilot direction just for the sake of this campaign making sense. And that's what's special about the second wind's spelljamming helm as an autopilot function.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
It's all,
is a
it's all
great
about the
ship.
end. It's all about the end. He's somehow working hard for you.
Yeah. I think that works. We'll have to maybe hire a pilot or something though.
Might make sense at some point. I will say, like, my general approach to this campaign has been, for the most part, pretty light on like ship to ship battles and mostly like invading ships, and so it hasn't really been a big issue, I don't think. But I think we can get creative with. I'll look up the rules, make a more complex judgment, and if you want to do something like rig the chair to the deck so you can shoot Eldritch blasts or something, like we can talk about it, or hire a pilot, whatever.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, we can retcon this conversation where we're actually having it in like right next to the chair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, maybe
Professor
we'll
X.
put. Yeah, I like the idea of putting it on wheels, the wheelchair spelljamming helm. You know?
Yeah, you know what? Enchant it with levitate, and then it can just like kind of like.
I mean,
okay.
it's magic. Come on, it has to stay in one spot. No, it's magic.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go slightly rule of cool here. You can Professor X around on the ship, on the chair, and we're not gonna worry about like just for your ship. It's your helm. This one helm has that functionality, and you Professor X in it, and that is going to be how this goes because that's way more interesting. And like to David's point, surely if there's a fucking space piloting helm, someone has figured out how to make it have a levitation component to it.
Nice. Cool.
It has to be
Awesome.
anchored, within 100 feet. I don't know, whatever. It's got to charge. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It needs to charge.
Got to plug it in.
It's USB-C,
Yeah, everyone's like, "What the hell?" in the chat. Unsubscribe. That's my protest to Wizards of the Coast. I'm abusing their rules. That's my protest.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Cool. And that's not pandering. No. Anyways, cool. So that's the situation. So you're at the edge of Doom Space. You're moving your way towards Arun. Commander Crux will, and just for the sake of kind of getting things wrapped off here, he will tell you that like he's been in communication with Warwick. And he will sheepishly admit that he lost his sending stone like a week ago. So he knows he was on there and he knows he was making some progress with the Artux. But there is like a slight possibility that he's not there anymore. So he recommends we start there. You get the impression it was like a drunken situation that he lost the thing. But anyway, so that's the situation. So yeah, I heard some talk about disguising the princess. I may have missed if it was one of the NPCs helping with that or not. What's your plan for disguising the princess?
Going to maybe approach her and try to convince her to change her clothes into some cheaper clothing and maybe perhaps cut or dye her hair if she's willing. So on and so forth.
Cool. This could be like a Queen Amidala Padme situation. We just make her look like one of like the deckhands or something.
Oh, hang on! I've got just the thing for her.
Yeah,
that always does it, right?
Yeah, pair of glasses.
I actually have traveler's clothes in my inventory, and I am a plasmoid who does not wear clothes, so I could give some to her if she has something, if she would like to wear these. And it would probably make her look more like a deckhand.
You should trade clothes with her, and then you could be the princess.
I don't wear. I just wear my mask.
Yes, right.
That'd be a tough sell.
So she's not a fool. She understands that that's gonna be. I mean, she won't argue. She'll just say, "So you want me to wear that? Um, fine. All right, I will wear it." And she brings the clothes over. She kind of smells them, make sure that they like. Why do you have these placebo?
I like, you just get stuff when you start. So I think Placebo has it because she found them very interesting and like maybe attempted to wear them a few times, but just couldn't hold her body in the shape that it needed to. It was just too much work. So
Yeah.
there might be a little ooze left in there. I don't know, but
So she will demand that they be washed. She's like, we should have a few days before we get to a room. So please, if you wouldn't mind.
they're pink, of course, because they're very beautiful. But it's faded,
All right, excellent. And then you were gonna like cut her hair and stuff. Are you like going all in, like glasses?
Yeah, we're gonna Clark Kent it. We're gonna do the the kind of short hairdo. We'll Karen it, and we'll see if we can take some berries or something and darken the hair temporarily, not necessarily permanently. Whatever. I don't think we have hair dye. So,
well, does anyone have a disguise kit? Like, I would imagine that would be in there, right?
Do we have a disguise kit?
Oh, I should.
Let me see.
I have a calligraphy kit. I mean, I could use some of my ink.
Yeah, I have ink and pen. No disguise.
I mean, would ink work for dyeing hair?
I don't think I'd want to try it, but it's ink.
Can't work any worse than shoe polish.
Princess of Xaryxis wants us dipping her blonde hair in ink.
Oh, here. How about this? I have an herbalism kit, and henna is like an herb, but it'll color your hair red. So we can use like henna, a natural dye, and color her hair.
Okay. She'll do whatever. She's feeling a little bit like, I mean, at the end of the day, she's the princess and she doesn't want to she wants to win and she understands it's desperate and you're doing this somewhat to protect her. And so she will need a lot of convincing to kind of, she will grumble about it, but it'll be okay.
It's a nice conditioner as well. It will keep your hair very shiny and smooth.
Well, if you say so. I will do in it what must be done.
Cut your hair though, because I am not good at that. I think perhaps Koraz would be very good at cutting hair.
I'm good. I got the mandibles. When she's not looking,
Nice.
It's like Edward Scissorhands, he gets in the zone. She's got a little poodle on her head now.
I guess roll me a performance check. I don't know. What do you think? What is it, performance or dexterity? Because you don't have proficiency in hair cutting. It's got to be some placeholder for it.
You could do a performance using dexterity.
Yeah, do performance with dexterity. There's now really breaking the rules, sort of.
No, that's a Xanathar's rule.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay. Give me a dexterity check, and then if you have a proficiency in performance, add a.
So I would add an additional +1 to whatever this roll is here.
Got it. Do you have a performance proficiency?
I think I just have a. Oh no! Just
okay, so 14. Yeah. And you're trying to fuck it up.
No, I'm not trying to fuck it up.
Okay,
I'm just trying to be an art. I'm just trying to be an artiste.
Yeah.
You turn her head this way, turn her head that way. Oh yes, they were gonna You know?
Yeah, you're getting in there and you're doing all right, but you accidentally lop like a whole lock off that you weren't intending to, but you just kind of play into it. And she has like a super modern looking haircut with it's not at all symmetrical, and she's just like staring with like a glassy, dead eye look out
Yeah.
onto space.
It will
She has-
grow back.
Beautiful.
yeah,
What are you
yes,
talking- what are you
it will
talking
grow back. And she looks very distressed, but I will say she looks like an attendant. She does she looks like a very chic attendant. She's got a nice cool haircut and she's wearing some plain old traveler's clothing. She's got, I don't know, glasses on, whatever you all did to like make her look. She doesn't look like a princess anymore. She does look like an elf, but that's okay. There's lots of elves. So anything else you want to do to the princess or in preparation as you're traveling to Arun?
You said it's what it was going to be like a full day's travel or 10 days travel.
Yeah, it's like 10 days. You're like on the total edge of the system. And so you're gonna have to like full speed go to Arun, probably take you like maybe like a week or so, 10 days ish.
So are you asking if there's anything else we want to do with the rest of that time?
Yeah, I guess you'd say that's a good point. So you're gonna have a whole like week to travel. So there's gonna be some anything you want to do on the trip, let's put it that way. Let's back up. We'll just start there.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, a little fishing probably. If we got 10 days, probably do a little fishing.
That's the only
Okay.
thing I can think of is, yeah, I'd probably want to do.
Some fishing. And do you need to do any cooking with your treats or anything, or are those all set?
Yeah, I'll do that. I don't remember who I defaulted those to, so we'll just say I would give one to I'll just give one to each of the other players.
Cool. Okay. So does that evolve as you get higher level, or is it the same setup?
I think it's based off proficiency bonus, maybe, so it's still just
Cool.
yeah, so it's item you can use as a bonus action and regain it's temporary hit points. I think it's 3 temporary hit points.
Okay, cool. So y'all have that. And then there was some interest in fishing, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to abstract this out because you could probably roll like 5,000 times or something if you do all the fishing you possibly could. So we'll just do like kind of an abstraction of the fishing. We'll still do the rolls and deal with the problems good things that happen from the fishing. But where is it? Where's astral fishing? Oh, hold on. There it is. But anyways, but we won't go through like all the rolls. We'll just do like a few hours of it or something like that. Just kind of extract. So what I need from you, whoever's fishing, is to roll, first of all, a wisdom survival check.
16 for me.
You pass. Okay. You both succeed in your fishing, and I'm going to use it to extract out like sort of an average level of success. You're going to get several pulls out of that. So we're going to go through, and I need a D10 from each of you. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, so give me a D10.
Ooh.
9 and a 3. So for Koraz, you are going to you're gonna go to fish, and the first thing you fish is another one of those space eels that just comes up and immediately just bites you. And so we're not gonna like play out the combat between you and a single space eel. But it comes up and just jumps on you and starts to like rip you apart and just like trying to chew you up as you're fishing. How do you respond? What do you do to prevent this from happening?
I'm going to bite it.
Give me a D20 attack roll. How many hit points do these things have?
Oh,
Oh,
baby!
Nice. You crit it. Just for fun. I mean, it's just isn't it just 1 point no matter even if you crit? Oh, you didn't crit. You rolled it. No, yeah, you crit. Yeah, you crit. How does an unarmed attack work? We're gonna call this actually. Do Thrycreen have teeth?
I don't know if we have a bite attack. I don't think so. I just was thinking how funny it would be to bite it with my mandibles, but
I think you
I
might
think-
though. I think you
I
might
think
have
we-
some kind of weird
yeah,
like.
I think we have something.
You've got. I could have sworn you had like a little like.
I thought it was
some
like a
kind of-
third arm or something. We can do something.
Yeah, you do have. That's what it is. You got a third arm. You don't have any way to bite. I could have
Yeah.
sworn. Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Just give me. We're gonna call this improvise because you do have mandibles. So roll a d4, 2d4, and we'll add your strength modifier to it.
And my strength modifier is a -1.
Fantastic. So you do 3 points of damage to this eel, and you bite it in half. You bite like its tail off, and the rest of it flips off and just like flies off into the space. And you have half of an eel.
How does it taste?
It tastes very spongy and very very raw and gamey. You do think that if you maybe cook it, it could be nice, but it's not a pleasant taste right just biting into its tail. Like you get some bone, bone marrow in your mouth. Yeah, but you got a tail. You could feed the entire rest of the party with it.
nice job, Koraz. You really eeled that one in.
Oh!
All right, and then for Zeph, you rolled a 3, I believe. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so for you, your 3, you pull up a single teeny tiny little fish, but it's like an anchovy. It's actually a delicacy. It's delicious. It feeds one person though, or 500 little babies. But it's like a really nice, tasty fish.
I'm just gonna lord it over them for the rest of the adventure. That they gotta behave, and like maybe at the end of this, I'll get it.
So you'll continue to fish, and we'll say like you definitely get the hang of it, and I'll say on odds are you're going to be able to keep up feeding every day, and like, every once in a while a creature will jump out and bite you, and you'll have to fight some strange being. You will get a couple of fish that you probably shouldn't eat, lots of inedible ones, but this will be like it's across several days. You're definitely get a haul of fish. And you can feed the party. No need for like rations or anything like that. And pretty appreciative, pretty nice. Depends on if you give them the good ones or the bad ones, but they'll eat them. However, one of the days when you're out there fishing, well, first of all, let me check in with Placebo and Ichabod. Is there anything that you all wanted to be doing while these fellows are fishing?
I'll go and spend some time with Starbow, and I will clean up any leaves that have fallen and try to make the ground just a better source of nutrients for him.
Yeah, so Starbow is the treant that is like the heart of the ship, and he provides like this endless supply of fresh oxygen, which is kind of a nice thing to have because the air decays over time otherwise. And he took a beating, I think, at some point. I'm trying to remember. I think he got hurt a lot. I don't remember what y'all are fighting. I think it was maybe the squid thing. But
The
yeah, 'cause he
numerous
was like,
ships.
yeah, he was like trading blows with one of the other ships. I didn't want to play out like all the roles, but he was basically just kind of getting every round getting a little bit damaged. And there's like branches all over the place. And maybe at some point y'all start cleaning them up, but you're like you're tending to that. The
I can
branches.
absorb some of that, and I have my hand of healing, so I can help him feel better too.
Yeah, and that works. And he's just, "Oh, thank you. What did you say your name was?"
I am Placebo.
"Hello, Placebo. I am Starbow." And he just has this very like laconic conversation with you. And like when you talk to him, he is he can almost barely understand you because he thinks so slowly and broadly. He's just anything that's at all detailed about like what happened yesterday just flies right over his head. But he will converse with you as you're cleaning up. How about Ichabod?
I think first and foremost, Ichabod would be making sure that the first mate and Grimzod were kind of in on like being sworn to secrecy, and kind of probably would take some muscle along with them just to kind of impress the point about how like their the cargo they picked up at that last in that last battle has to be top secret. um and then he would probably spend as much time writing, rewriting, editing, crumpling up, starting all over, trying to work on like the perfect speech to like get people to join the coalition that they're going to be putting together.
Okay. And you know enough about the factions. Here's what I'm gonna do to reward that sort of creative thought process. You're gonna give yourself a point of inspiration. Is it gonna be a unique point of inspiration that you can use? I'm gonna say 3 times for your speeches. Of course, the entire conversation point. So I'm giving you kind of like a specialized inspiration point. Um, and basically, the idea is going to be that as you converse with the Artux or the Arakakra or whoever you want to like convince, you'll be able to give yourself advantage 3 times more or less. So as a part of like you're working on all your speeches because you know enough of the factions to be like, okay, well, there's these bird people, there's this, and so you can kind of like play it out. And what I'll say is like when you get close to a rune as a group, you're gonna run into you're gonna like you're kind of going like super speed mode and things are gonna slow down and you're gonna almost collide with what looks to be a flock of birds at first, but and I guess we may have who might be on the deck at this point, probably the fishers,
Mhm.
fisher thrycreen. So you're sitting there, you're fishing, another eel pops up and bites Koraz in the nose, and right as you see this happen, you see these creatures, and you notice that they're not birds; they're dragons, red dragons, and they are being they're mounted, or I guess they're being ridden by some figures. And so, Placebo, Ichabod, are either of you on the deck? You think?
I would be by Starbow.
Oh, yeah, you're by Starbow, and you're like cleaning up the last bit of branches. You would recognize those riders as Gith. And they just kind of like it's almost like oops, almost crash into each other, and they flap about, and they kind of like pause and see you, and like one of the riders, he's wearing a slightly more ornate armor. He has the big greatsword on his back. He kind of just hails out, "Hail, sorry."
Hey, Koraz, do you think we should, do we reach out to them? Hey, how do you guys feel about Xaryxians?
What's that?
I'll use my psionics to, like, communicate with them.
I can't even think of a word that sounds like Xaryxian. But I was like, I don't even know what could even be like. Anyways, and so he was like, what? And so he kind of motions his crew, and like what you see before you are this Githyanki wearing plate. He's flying a young red dragon, and he is flanked by 4 4 other Githyanki that are wearing like slightly, they're wearing half plate, and they're flying on again young dragons, young red dragons, and they pull up. They don't appear to be hostile.
That's freaking metal.
He looks at you and his hair's blowing in the wind, and there's no wind, but like somehow it still has like that blowing metal look. Long silver hair, and say, "Hail, friends. Where are you headed?"
We're headed to Arun.
Oh, the Artux.
Yeah,
or the Jurassics.
we're kind of putting together like a coalition, I guess you'd say, of like-minded resistance fighters to put up a fight against the Xaryxians.
When you say Xaryxian, he kind of spits like,
Yeah.
"Fuck the Xaryxians."
Well, get on in here.
Oh well, I wish we could, but we've got work. So
What? Work? Work for who?
oh well, he looks around to his crew and he's kind of like sizing you up and like, does he trust you? And he's like, well, we work for Vokath, the Mercane. Heard of him?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. You know what? I really shouldn't be the one talking to you. Do you have a second?
I'm not to say anything, so I can't say anything. I think you should do the talking, Zeph.
Oh, well, okay. So your boss is pretty important, huh? How do they feel about Xaryxians? Maybe they'll give you a leave if they knew that you had a more important thing to do.
He laughs, a big bellowing laugh, like, oh, Vokath is he's a very busy person. I don't think he would be too interested in us being late. But I wish you good luck on your journey, and we will maybe one day we'll cross paths.
Yeah, tell Vokath he's invited to the party if he hates Xaryxians.
He laughs again, like big, deep chuckles, and you can tell the other they're like less willing to break their sort of like stern looks, but they're giving each other like different looks, like. And he's like, yes, I will be sure to tell Vokath about that. And he kind of thinks for a second. He's like,
Does? I'm sorry, I didn't get the second part. You said Vokath the what?
Vokath the Mercane. So it's Mercane.
Does any of us know what that word means?
Let us think about that. I believe Mercane is a species.
Oh, I thought it was a. I thought it was.
I thought he was like
job.
a merchant or something. He's like an arcane merchant.
I think it's a type of species, like one of the creatures. And yeah, so
I
it is
think you're right. Yeah.
It's a you would know that you would know this because they're just enough of you have traveled that you would figure this out. Mercanes are they're not giants actually. They're celestials, but they're large humanoids. Well, they're not. They're celestials, but you know what I mean. Like they look like a person. I'm trying to explain this without breaking the D&D setup.
Big blue
but they're
people.
technically celestial. Yeah, people. There you go. Large people. And they are so they are these sort of mysterious, kind of magical, tall, lanky blue creatures that are interested in like the way they're described as like they're created by one of the deities, and that focuses on like fair commerce. So like they're mercanes, so the merchant connection is actually legitimate. But you know that they have.
We were good there, Koraz. We had it all figured out.
Although I was in middle school.
I was imagining more like the genie from Aladdin, but then you said tall and lanky, so maybe a skinny genie from Aladdin.
The chat has helped me out because they know a little more about this. They said that one of them are their big blue people. I got that, yes. And they have Monopoly and Spelljammer helms.
Ooh.
I knew that they were interested in them. I didn't know there was a Monopoly, so that's interesting.
Or do they make them? They're the makers?
Yeah, I guess they make them.
We should show them our prototype Professor X mobile.
Be like, where did you get that? So
oh no, they're hostile.
It's top secret.
They get the Yankee board, the ship. No, but basically,
I'm gonna ask the guy. I'm gonna kind of give him like one of these and see if they can before they fly off, if they can get their one of their red dragons to blow fire, in the opposite direction.
Okay, so you want to do that? Oh, this is like it's like a like passing a truck and doing like the honking thing, like there's no.
Like before they leave, I'm gonna be like, "You guys rock, give me some fire."
He'll throw up a double horns, and the dragon
Yeah.
just streaks this flame out into space. It scorches a couple of passing scavers. And then they're very much like, see you back at, and then he turns around and says, if you ever get bored, come down to Vocas Arena. Maybe I'll see you there. And then they fly off.
Guys were awesome.
Yeah, we aren't, and that's why they didn't want to hang out with us. So we got to become awesome and then go to this Vocas Arena place, and then maybe they'll take us seriously. I thought about telling them about blowing up the star, because that...
I was going to say that would make us awesome.
I know, but there was very strict instructions about not saying that, so I thought,
Ichabod will be very proud of us. We did one thing right. We didn't go get him, but we didn't tell the one thing we're not supposed to tell. So
you told me I could not speak about blowing up the star, the princess, the astral fount, or the temple of light. That is more than one thing I can't talk about.
That's a whole grocery list.
I know. And all of those things would make us very awesome.
I mean, I'm awesome. You guys got to get awesome.
You never know.
I'm a dad now. There's no way I'm going to put that back in the box.
I bet your children think you're very awesome. I see how they lift you up, and they must think very highly of you.
Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. I'm going to write that one down.
So that was, what was the name?
We should write that down.
Vocas Arena? Was that it?
Vocas Arena. So
Arena.
You got the impression that they were going to the arena, like that was their direction, and that they were kind of like, how do I phrase this? That they were
competing in the arena or something?
No, that they're like, they work the arena. Like it was like the arena's they're the guards, I think is the impression you would get. They're like come hang out with us when you get to the Vocas Arena.
That doesn't look too far from where we're going. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should, those guys sound way cooler than Crux and his friends. It's, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, but we do not want to offend Crux again. We finally have him back in good spirits.
That's true.
That's true. And I was checking something. Yeah. Okay, cool. I've got to reread this whole section here that we're coming up on, because that was a random encounter, but I was like, let's kind of it may come up, so let's talk about it. But okay, that still makes sense. Yep. Okay. Cool. So that said, you'll make your way to Arun, and Arun, as you enter the orbit, this is a planet that is it's not a planet, it's a moon. So it's one of the 9 moons of In, which is one of the other. It's basically a planet that isn't that little cluster. Like Vocat's at one of the moons, Arun's one of the moons. And as you're attending the moon, you can see that this is like you can see like flashes of light all across the planet. And as you get closer, as you approach it, and I guess I'll leave it there. So you approach the planet, you see this kind of somewhat of a forested, jungly, wastelandy type place. It doesn't look like there's a lot of civilization on the planet, is from what you can tell from far up. And you see little like blasts of light kind of like here or there all throughout, like lightning, basically.
Is it threatening the ship, or
No, it's more just like you could tell the planet's kind of a little volatile. Not like it's going to blow up, but more like this is maybe not the best place to live.
So the lightning is among the trees, not in the clouds above the trees?
You're just, I guess you would say, like, you're just seeing little flashes of lights on the surface, like big blasts of lightning that like you could see from like orbiting from orbit.
Can you see
So
any cities, Koraz? Where do you think we should land?
Do I see anything through the storms or as we come in?
you don't, but Crux will tell you the last location, his last communication with Warwick. And so you'll be able to, like, if you choose, you say you could. It's like, well, I know Warwick was supposed to meet me on this plateau. I know that's the last place he was. He said that if we search for him in this region, we should be able to make contact. But I will say it's been a week, really a couple weeks now. But he'll point out, like, basically, like their rendezvous point.
I think we should head that way, but maybe before touching down, we'll, scout about the rendezvous point, kind of circle around, take a look, see if we see any sight of his Warwick before setting down or any danger.
Cool. So you don't want to do like a flyby? Like
Yeah, kind of like a coming down, kind of a circle, not necessarily a flyby, but like a circle around. Like I tend to do that when I park places. I'll go and I'll see if there's Rockstar parking in front, and then if there's not, I'll go around back. Kind of like one of those.
Certainly. So you'll once you bring the ship kind of into the the atmosphere of the moon, you'll see that they're from kind of the high spot in. You're seeing there's pillars of rock everywhere, and these lightning strikes are striking the pillars and then like leaping to another pillar. It's kind of like some kind of like lightning rod type of scenario. And there's a plateau that has been called out from Crux's connection that's about 100 feet off the ground. It's about a mile across, and it's covered with all these just like a jungle. And there's not really a good like dock or a place to I don't know how to say this, like basically there's not really a good landing spot. Like, you ever play like Final Fantasy games, you can't land the airship in certain places, you're always like, damn it. You have that kind of situation. It's like, I can't land here because you got to get a golden chocobo.
Yeah.
You better get crossbreeding. Anyways, so you're not going to be able to, you can't land the ship, but you know that that's not a major problem, because if you recall, like, well, actually, that's how the very first ship you gain access to, like, you jumped on a rope ladder. So like you could easily drop a rope ladder down and get access, but there's too many trees. It's not really a good spot to go.
And are the trees like obscuring if there's anybody down there? Or
Oh yeah, it's pretty thick. And you can hear, if you get close enough, like as you're kind of circling around and you get close, like you can hear like it's teeming with wildlife. Like, this is not, even though it's sort of like has like this rugged wasteland kind of a vibe, you get the impression there's like lots of animals. And remember that this is a planet that is known for Tarasques. Or not a planet, a moon that's known for Tarasques.
I'm gonna make sure I've got like a glass of water somewhere with me out deck of the ship.
A glass of water?
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park style? Is that what
I think you mean Jurassic.
Oh.
You're holding the you're like, nobody move.
So is there anywhere, as we're kind of circling around, do we see a clearing outside of the area, or anywhere further off, or if we expand our circle around, do we see anywhere that would be suitable for landing that's less wooded, where we would have more of a view of things coming? Or is it pretty clear to us that we're just going to have to basically go down in the jungle?
Give me an investigation check.
Not my best, but not my worst.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's a little bit hard to find anything. But you do find a spot like maybe you can get a little bit closer, kind of the outskirts of the plateau that maybe you can't fully land because like it's hard to like. I mean, these are ships, right? So like you need like a place you can like you need like water to dock in or something that's like structured to dock into.
Yeah.
And so I
Is
think it's
there-
really more like lack of infrastructure is the problem.
Is there any sign of civilization anywhere? Or is it all just jungle?
It's all jungle where you're supposed to meet up.
I don't like this. I'm gonna say that to the group. I'm just gonna say I don't like this.
Commodore Crux, are you aware of any villages, maybe not on this particular plateau, but anything possibly nearby where we could at least learn if the major is still awaiting us at this rendezvous, or we could at least get a lay of the land before just jumping down into this jungle?
I hate to say, but I don't know Arun much. Warwick's been describing to me that it's pretty. The Artoks don't build civilizations and buildings the way that we do. They sort of live in nomadic sorts of societies, and then with the Tarasks, buildings don't survive much on the surface. So, not that I'm aware of.
Well, we might just have to leave the ship hovering, so in case we need to make a hasty retreat, we're able to. But I mean, even if it's a mile is it a mile wide as well? Is it like a 1 square mile, or is it?
Yeah, like I mean, more or less, yeah. I mean, it's not like a perfectly cut thing or something, but you've got about a mile, kind of more thinking like a mile radius or so.
Perhaps we could. I guess maybe we start at one end, and then we're at most a mile away from our ship, or we could park it in the middle, and then we're at most a half a mile from our ship in any direction.
Crux is gonna basically like defer to you. You're the captain, so
Yeah, and Ichabod's kind of thinking out loud and kind of looking to see if anyone has any better ideas, and if no one does, and he's like, "Right, we will hover over the center of the plateau, and then we will map out our exploration from there."
Like that idea.
Sounds fair.
all right. So I'm gonna put you on a map, and we will. Hey, lots of activity going on in the chat. Hey, everybody. Lots of gambling. So I'm putting you on the map. Let me know when that comes live. I'm gonna obviously since you chose to go in the center, I did not prepare one like that, but you can interpret. No,
It's just this cliff here in the center. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, it's the topography
So you
of
decide to go in the center. Yeah, that's right. There's a random 100-foot cliff in the plateau. No, but I think the intention here, I don't want to force this cliff. This just pretend this is grass. This area. I mean not grass, more jungle. So you're gonna drop down into the jungle and immediately want to start like I guess yeah, that's it. That's all. You'll do that. And so Crux is like, all right, I guess I'll go first.
I will go behind you. I'm pretty fast. And that way, if you need me to help, I will be right there.
He hops off, and we don't have to like play it around like we're marching through a video game or something, but basically he's going to take the front. What will be the marching order? Sounds like Placebo will be right behind. And
Right
just
next
you guys
to
can order
whatever.
yourself in that position, like however you want after that.
Yeah, I think Ichabod would want to be kind of toward the middle.
All right. Grimzod is going to stay on the ship, as well as the princess. I mean, kind of protect her.
And
we
we
know
trust that, all right? Like, let's leave the vampires with our ship.
This. I will stay on the ship.
He can't fly
The
it.
princess.
Oh,
Yeah, he
that's
can't
right.
steal
That's
it,
right.
but maybe. Yeah, but he could still drain the blood from the princess if he gets a little thirsty.
I think he can make it turn invisible, but I think only for an hour. Let me see if I can remember that. So, what was he's a vampire captain? I think they have like a ship visibility thing.
When he put his foot on the other ship, he did a sigil or something on our ship the last time, right?
Yeah, he let us
Yes.
get really close, and then when he left, it became visible again.
It only lasts an hour, but he could take a short rest and then make it invisible again. So in theory, he could kind of keep it invisible every other hour mechanically.
We asked him though because we're not supposed to eat each other, and so he can't eat her on the ship.
Whenever we get down there, I'm going to use my chameleon carapace to blend in with my surroundings, so at least the color as much as possible, just to try to give me a little advantage.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. That'll work.
I think Ichabod would make sure that the princess is at least armed, just in case something does go down. She can defend herself. Whether it's from Grimzod or more likely something else trying to climb up onto the ship, she should at least have some sort of weapon.
Yeah, and on the ship, I'm sure it would be hard to find like a random short sword or scimitar or something like that. Just say, sure, I can take care of myself, but and Captain Flinch, Mr. Flinch is there as well. First mate Flinch, or I guess second mate. I don't know what he is now. I don't know if you like cleaned house when he took over ownership. But Flinch is on the boat, at least. I'm sure he wasn't like spaced. And he's just like smoking a cigarette and just like, keeping her company.
It's been demoted to deckhand. He's just.
But I don't think he would even do that. He seems to have not been contributive. But so you're landing in this jungle, and it's pretty muggy. There's lots of bugs flying around, and just like it's not sweltering, but it's certainly an unpleasant environment for those of you who are used to, kind of more temperate climates. It's definitely more of a jungle-y type situation. How do you want to do the search? Like, do you want to? Koraz is just marching ahead, but do you all have any like plan for searching around, or are you just gonna wait? Like, what's your strategy?
So basically, we're just kind of waiting to come upon, or we're walking around waiting to come upon some sort of nomadic tribe of people.
Kind of looking to see if Warwick was still around.
Yeah, I don't know that we're necessarily trying to be super sneaky unless someone suggests it. Ichabod is very much out of his element right now, so he's thinking like, well, we'll just look around for signs that, he was here and Crux will know that. And so he's more just like, well, we'll just explore this area and hopefully stumble upon something.
But we shouldn't be calling his name. That wouldn't be a good idea.
I mean, there's terrasse and stuff. I think we do want to like maybe keep it on the DL a little bit. Maybe just look for signs of like footprints and people passing and stuff like we are in a jungle. There's all manner of creatures. I don't know if you heard it when we were coming down, but those sounds did not sound nice, So maybe we try to keep it quiet and observe and find them. We don't want anything finding us. We want to find them.
That is why I wasn't shouting out his name.
That's good. You're
They will hear you and attack.
I have one mute button that I can choose, and I chose the stream. Sorry.
You hear this loud sneeze, and then, oh no, 5 Tarasques.
I think Zeph is allergic to something in this jungle.
Ugh. But if we're marching into the jungle and this is a nomadic group, like I'll try to look for evidence of them as we're moving forward. See if I can pick up a trail.
Yeah, so give me a survival check.
Mate.
Great. So you were able to find very quickly, like you don't find a trail or a sign of the Artox because you find a campsite that's been used in the past day. Like it's pretty recent. Like you stumble upon it. Like it's clear that Warwick has been using like this is his base of operations. Like it's like not just a campsite. It's like a tent and like a whole like place where someone's clearly going to come back to like sleep here. And as you're like digging around and you find this, you very quickly like realize, okay, Warwick is going to be back. You hear a gunshot crack out in the somewhere in the woods, and you hear like basically like a person like running through the woods, and I'm going to move you kind of like roughly into position. We're going to say that you're like over in this area.
Crux shot him, didn't he? No.
Crux shot him. So y'all can kind of like the campsite's going to be like somewhere in this area, so you can kind of push yourself around. And basically, what's going to happen is, I don't know if I made him visible or not. Oops, I didn't make him visible. Is there anything else? Is everything else visible to you?
I see trees. That's what I see.
Trees, and I
All
see. Okay, yeah, I see 2 hippos.
You see 2 hippos. Okay, so there's gonna be a hippo. He's going to become running out, and he's out of breath, and he runs into his camp, and he's got his musket hanging, and he's like, Crooks. And Crux will like, oh, Warwick, and they like kind of embrace. And then Warwick will turn around and say, do you have a ship? We gotta go. And he starts to run, and he's gonna get to here.
He pissed him off.
And at that point, we're going to he starts to run, and you see if you're anywhere near the situation. We'll say that like y'all run and kind of like get. I shouldn't have done this with tokens. This doesn't make any sense now that I'm thinking about it. You're going to be able to run a little bit to get closer to the ship because you had parked it kind of in the center, and you'll be basically where you're at in the map whenever a creature comes rolling out of the woods right in front of Crux. And this is so it's right here. What you see is what I guess you would imagine like a human-sized starfish. It's a star. It's 5 pointed arms. Each of the arms is covered in like this thick bark-like material, and there's these little little sort of like pseudopods, little coming out of the tips of the star as it's kind of like rolling in. And in the center of the star, a head has popped out, and it shoots something at it shoots a tongue at Warwick. And I'm gonna start with that, and then we're gonna roll initiative.
For what it's worth, as soon as I heard the gunshot, I would go camouflage.
Cool. All right, so Warwick is going to try to make a dexterity saving throw. And he succeeds, thank God. So the tongue like shoots out like past him and hits like a branch and like rips it off the tree towards the creature. Right before it goes into its mouth, it like flings the branch away. And then we're going to do combat. So for those of you who are camouflaged, walk me through the mechanic.
I think it's
You
just
get
a stealth
advantage?
check.
Okay,
You just get advantage on the stealth check.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and give me a stealth check then, I guess, right? 2, 3, 4.
Oh no. Not so good.
Oh, nice.
My goodness.
Okay. Oh, I just re-rolled everybody, didn't I?
Did you?
No, maybe I didn't. Maybe I clicked the right thing. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Because I see you all have like dice roll things. Maybe you didn't roll. Never mind. Okay. All right. Cool. And that is we are an initiative, and we're going to start at the top with Placebo. Placebo. Right before your turn, a creature grabs you and possesses your body, and
Yeah. Oh, I think I will blow up the plateau. Right. Now, am I supposed to see any creatures other than Major Warwick?
Do you see this guy?
Apparently not. I don't know what you're referencing. I don't see.
Really?
I might just not see. Oh, that guy. Okay. I was covering him with the combat tracker. I
Okay,
didn't
no
realize.
worries.
I was expecting him to be coming out the other way, not coming out, from where our ship, like in the direction of our ship.
Yeah, put it
So I
like
got
this: they're going to be coming from like kind of all directions.
Gotcha.
Like you feel like
Yeah.
you've been surrounded.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't see it because I'm looking.
No,
at
you're good. You're good.
There's a spot. Okay. I will move up to it.
And it's definitely hostile. And again, you see this sort of like strange looking starfish creature, and it is acting. It's trying to get Warwick.
Yeah, hostile against Warwick. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to hit it just so I can try to stun it. I don't really want to hurt him, but I want to try to, get him to not attack my friend because right now he's the only one I see. So,
Got it.
So I will use my quarterstaff to try to stop him. I know these are the guys we're supposed to be like getting on our side.
You do know they're warlike.
Yeah, maybe they'll. Okay, I was.
So if it makes you feel any
13.
better, 13's gonna miss.
All right, and then I have an extra attack, so I will try again. Or wait, not with the unarmed strike, with the quarterstaff.
Okay.
Oh, that's even better.
Placebo.
Jeez.
You're trying
Gosh.
to be like you're trying not to kill it.
Yeah.
And like it's also weird looking. So it's like, where do you even hit it? It's like
I'm aiming. Okay, the bonus action to unarmed strike, and this time I'm gonna try to punch its face.
this little like weird like skinny neck is out there, and it like turns to you with little beady eyes, and you just like punch it right in the face with your thing. It hits.
Okay, so my little pseudopod. All right, and so I will use a key point to try to. I'm not doing a lot of damage, but I'll use a key point to try to do a stunning strike. So
okay, cool. So it does hit. I'm just double checking, make sure it doesn't have any kind of resistances or anything. How much?
I'm magical, so it's.
Oh, it doesn't
6.
matter. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just 6. But
Cool.
There's the stunning strike. It's only a DC 13, but we'll see if I can stun him. Oh,
survives.
Yeah, look at that.
You know that dice came out like when someone's cheating and they like drop the die instead of like letting it roll. Like, did you see that?
Yeah, on my screen it was like almost a 2, and then it's like, no, we're gonna go to 20. That's how it looked for me. But all right, well, that's what I got.
All right. So yeah, you hit him, and it does not like that. And then we will. Another one comes rolling out, and it's going to see you attacking its friend, and it's actually going to go right. So you're right there. He doesn't know, and so it's going to come rolling around, and it's going to, as it's rolling towards you, it shoots something at you, and this little like pellet, this little globule comes flying at you as it's like rolling towards. And I'm guessing a 7 misses. And it stops kind of like about 10 feet away from you, and one of its long branch arms comes overhead on top of you, and as it's coming over your head, you can see that it has all these like spines on its little starfish branch arm, and it is going to try to hit you. 15
miss.
Misses again. Okay. And then it's going to kind of like back into the tree a little bit. All right. And that will bring us to the one that you just tried. You punched in the face, like you just punch in the face, and it's going to just go ahead and like just two branch arms. Actually, one's going to come down on you, and the other one's going to come down on Warwick. So it'll be the one that hits you or tries to hit you. I'm guessing a 15 again still isn't going to hurt you. This is going to be an interesting combat. I don't think I'm going to hit you. I didn't even hit Warwick. Oh my god, this is going to be a slaughter. All right, so these Arctics they're just like freaking out, and then that will bring us to up here. How fast are these fellows? Oh, they're slow. Okay, so Ichabod, you hear one come running through the woods or crashing through this tree, and it will shoot at you. So they're obviously like enraged. Miss. 12.
Nope. I'm AC
Okay.
14.
Nice. So it comes rolling out, and it basically, as it rolls, it like hurls these two little globule pellet things at you that are shining with energy. They're like almost like little balls of light that just go past your top hat, kind of swirls a bit. And then Zeph, it's your turn. I forgot. I did not see what your stealth check was. What
Oh,
was
it
your
was
stealth check?
bad. 10. So I'm really more accustomed to like desert sand environments. So he just goes as like a sandy tan. They like totally clash with the green of the jungle here. But he's gonna pull out his scimitar. And move into position over here. I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on this one. And in contrast to Placebo's attempt to subdue, he's just like a butcher with a knife, just like going at him. And so gonna take a swing.
And this right here.
Yeah, the one that's like right in front of our buddy there.
So
And
11 will miss.
second attack.
A 12 will miss.
So
So
he's
you're just again trying to. You've never
Ah!
killed one of these before, Seth. This is your first time killing one.
We're all just like slapping at each other. Like,
Yeah. Anything else? Any bonus actions or anything?
My bonus action was Hunter's Mark, so I'm good.
Yeah, I missed that too. So let me get that on. It was the one that right here that's marked.
That one, yep.
Yep. All right. So that'll bring us to Major Warwick. He is going to. Oh gosh, what's he gonna do? He doesn't have any weapons. Like he doesn't have a gun, and his sword is also missing. He has no grenades. Like he's totally out of anything. So he's just gonna like grapple one of these creatures. So he'll make a strength check. Yeah, let's do athletics. And you, I'm not even. I mean, should I even roll? Like, this is not going good. He's like, I got him. It's like,
Holy moly!
Oh my god!
not even a and then he falls on his floor on his butt. And he's like, my leg hurt. I hurt myself. No problem. So then we're going to have another one of these fellows come rolling up next to.
Do they literally roll? Like,
I don't know what they do. They look like they would roll. Like, don't you think? Like they're like, I guess
Starfish
they're
Yes.
starfish. They would roll. They would like curve up and roll in like a pill, and then kind of
Yeah.
open up.
Oh
on
yeah.
So I was thinking like
Oh.
cartwheeling.
Yeah, I was
but
thinking cartwheels too.
Oh, see, I was thinking pill bug. See, you gotta, you know.
Pillbug is even better. So I'm gonna go with Pillbug. They kind of just like, and then like all the arms come out, and they just see another GIF. Another GIF. They have no idea who's what, and they're just like, it's attack.
It's
Oh, finally someone gets hit. What was the second attack roll? Oh yeah, the same. So it comes wheeling around, and it drops 17 points of damage onto Crux. Crux is a pretty hardy fellow, as you know. I've been trying to kill him for a while, and he's still there. But he takes the blow. He's like, "Oh, it's an ambush!" Ichabod.
I am going to move closer here. And then I am going to bonus action unsettling words on this guy here. So let's see.
Do you
So
sure you
he
don't want
has
to
to
shatter
subtract-
everybody?
No, he's not. He still has hope that these are supposed to be like allies. So he's like, maybe this is
That's
like a
right.
test. Maybe this is misunderstanding. So, and then he's going to cast Bane on the three leftmost. This guy, and this guy. And the middle guy I'll have to subtract 1d8 from his roll.
Very nice. Good combo. All right. So he will pass. This one will have the D8 taken off, and we'll have a negative something. Oh no, maybe not. But he'll definitely fail. Let's put it that way. And then this guy will also fail.
How
So
many
they're
nat
baned.
20s have we had today? There's been quite a few.
I know. Foundry's trying to make us feel good playing D&D. It's like, see, D&D's still fun. You should still play it.
Look at all these
everyone
nat
like crit?
ones and nat 20s. It's high drama.
Yeah. For unsettling words, that only happened one time, or is it a continual thing? Just the one time, right?
It is a concentration spell.
Yeah, it's actually before your turn. So he's baned and he's unsettled. He's
Right, but I think the unsettling was just like his. Oh wait, I guess I didn't look that closely. I just was
it
thinking
must
about
subtract the
when.
number rolled from the next saving throw it makes. Oh, the next saving throw. Okay, I thought I
Yeah,
read that a little bit more.
so all you have to
Makes
keep
sense.
track of is now the bane on both of
Got
those
it.
guys.
They're baned. All right. Anything else?
I guess as a free action, he'll say, "Calm yourself. Calm yourselves. We can talk this out."
And what are they gonna say? They're going to say, "What do you expect a starfish tree to sound like?" Never mind, told me. It's gonna go like and make all these like snaps and pops and hisses, and like it kind of rustles like a tree, like it's like a rustling sound on its like spines.
I'm imagining like one of those rain stick things a little bit.
That's exactly what it sounds like. A little rain stick. You feel like you're in the Rainforest Cafe, and it is does not seem to understand you, but it's very agitated. All right, Koraz the Hive.
So Koraz is going to focus on this Artuk Weedling, and he is going to kind of quickly with his telepathic mind, speaking, say, "We're here to band together against the Xaryxians. Join us!" And then he's going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay, so talk about your psychic thing. As long as it speaks a language, it can understand you, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And then I'll throw Detect Thoughts in the VTT. The reason why it's kind of speaking to him is because it says questions verbally directed at the target may shape the course of its thoughts.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going to cast the spell, and then I will use my full action to dig deeper into its thoughts and make it require the savings throw.
Okay, great. So let me go ahead and do the saving throw. What is it? The saving throw?
I believe it's a 14.
Is it a what type of saving throw though?
Oh, wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay,
Let me just make sure.
that sounds right.
Yeah, it's wisdom.
All right. So it'll try to make a saving throw. It will fail. So
Okay.
you were able to probe deeper, and I actually don't know if I've ever seen someone succeed with detect thoughts. So let's see what.
So it says I gain insight into its reasoning of its thoughts, its emotional state, and something that's looming large in its mind.
Cool. So and can it speak back? Can you understand its thoughts? Like, because you can talk to it. Can it talk back?
It can talk back to me telepathically. I think is a part of the talking thing. Let me go to that. It's a race feature,
Cool.
and it says, where is that? Telepath without magic. Where is it? You use telepathy, magically transmitting your thoughts mentally to willing creatures within 120 feet. A contacted creature doesn't need to share a language with you, but does need to understand at least one language. And it's a mental link. You can speak to each other.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. It's funny how some of the times some of the features are you can talk back, some you can't. So you got to keep track.
Well, let's see. It says, contacted. Doesn't need to share language, but it must be able to understand at least one language. Telepathic language. Well, it doesn't specifically say it can talk back.
Let me process, but I think it won't matter too much because there's a the creature is like thinking, and you're like deeply.
And I'm listening. Yeah.
So effectively, this will work, but for the future, just something we can take a look at. So what'll happen is you say that, and then immediately you start like probing its mind, and you know that they are offended. Their honor has been offended by Warwick. Apparently, Warwick was trying to like get them to join the cause, and he insulted their sort of like courage and their like their honor, and like they're like I'm almost imagining like Klingons are like really pissed off, like they're enraged. How dare you like make us look idiots? And what's deep in its mind is that it needs to get Warwick, and it needs to make him pay for the insult. And also, as you're kind of probing deeper, this little guy is a grunt. Like he doesn't really have any power or control. He's supposed to follow orders, and he's going to follow orders. You would think like what's deep in his mind is like the more superior Zartuk or Zartuk, whatever, what are these things called again? Artuk. The Artuk elder that's sort of like in charge of him would absolutely like he would not just he would be killed, like he would lose his honor and his standing if he were to yield.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Now, that's an awful lot to try to send to my party members in 6 seconds, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But I will probably move. I think I can move still. And I will move and stay hidden kind of in this tree. Over to here stealthily. And is that's Crux next to me, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. That's my turn.
Nice. Yeah, and you would, I guess the main thing you would gain out of that is there may be some negotiation, but maybe not with these guys.
Yeah, I'm a mind to try to get to our buddy Warwick and tell him to stay, to just surrender and we'll capture him and say, hey, we've got who you want. We'll parlay with your leader to hand him over.
Oh my god, I hope that's what you do. Okay. So then we'll get another one of these fellows is going to come into the situation. It's only going to get 20 feet. It's going to converge on you, Zeph, because you're out there like swirling around like a little top with your blades. And it's going to shoot at you twice with a radiant pellet. Or will it? No. Damn it. There. Now it will. Okay. 2 shots. First one's a 12. Second one is a 13. I'm not even going to ask you if those hit. They don't hit, do they?
You ask.
Damn it.
I stated it.
No,
I just
they
did.
missed.
Damn it. Okay. And this next one's going to come out, and this one's going to move a little forward. It's going to see Commander Crux, and it's going to shoot its tongue out at him. So here comes the tongue. Oh, that sounded weird. Oops, I had the wrong person to do that saving throw. But you know what? I'm going to take the dice roll and say that Crux gets enveloped in the tongue and goes flying into this creature, and it basically like has control of him now. And let me make sure, was that an action or a bonus action? That's an action. So that's what that thing does. So Crux is like, "Oh, I'm all wrapped up."
Action.
He's got tongue all wrapped up around him.
Doesn't it say bonus action?
Oh, did it?
At the bottom, tongue, 1 bonus action, instantaneous.
Oh, it says it was
No.
listed under actions. Maybe it is a bonus action. How do they do this on D&D Beyond? Nope, you're right. It's bonus action. So now he's gonna wail on him.
Wait, no.
Well, come on.
Hold on, is he restrained? Let me see what this says. I think it's just grappled, so it doesn't get restrained. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hit him. Oh no, it does. Oh, Crux. Oh no. How have I not killed you? All right,
What?
he gets a hit.
Is his AC really that low?
It's a 12.
Oh my gosh. We need to get this guy some armor.
Yeah, I guess he's wearing like British safari outfits. So he's like, all right.
Yeah, the next time we're in a port and we have all this time just to, go shopping through the bazaar.
See, he was
We'll get him
expecting
some
a
armor.
desert too, so I don't feel so bad.
Oh,
All right, and I will try to envelop you with the Artuk's tongue, Koraz. Sorry, I don't know how to say it anyway. It doesn't feel weird. It fires its tongue at you. Give me a
Now-
DC 12 dexterity saving throw.
I did have some stealth going on. Are they able to?
Oh,
they're
you're
able to
right.
see me?
What was your stealth check?
It was a. It's up there a little ways. Hang on.
Do you remember like ballpark what it was?
22.
Oh, why do you? Yeah, it was a 37. So he doesn't do that actually. What he instead does is he shoots pellets at Crux. They're trying to subdue him. My God. Okay, and they finally hit him. Uh-oh. That was a 3d4. That's pretty good. So he just gets hit in the face with this like glob of like shining energy, and it's like a ball of sap, and just like sticks on his face and kind of blinds him. He's like, "Go on without me. Save Warwick. He's the secret to this negotiation." And he will take out his grenades like aliens, just drop it on himself. No. You know what? He is gonna do that. That'd be interesting.
Winston. Just because you don't want him around anymore.
So he drops the grenade. You have a different. I can't have 2 gifts and a vampire and a princess and a Hadozi.
I think
Like I'm playing my
Kogo
own
from
game.
Out of the Abyss wants to have a word with you about too many NPCs.
All right. He fails, of course, and he's restrained or grappled. I don't know if you can't get disadvantage or anything. So he drops this grenade on himself and his butt and these guys, and I think they're all gonna fail. Everybody fails. So here's the damage, and it's 16 damage. It's not even that cool. Just this explosive grenade just blasts all of these Artuk creatures and himself. He's like, "I've been through worse. I have more, maybe." And he will do the check to see if he gets his grenade back. I don't know how to do that. Well, I'll figure out later. Okay, actually, wait. I roll what, a D6?
Yeah.
And if he gets a 4 or lower, the gift has no more grenades to throw. So he's out of grenades. This is 1 grenade. All right. Back to the top of the order. Placebo. All this chaos is erupting all over the place. What do you do?
Okay. And now we're being attacked by many. And so I'm going to try to hit the one in front of me. Not as gently this time. 14.
Just misses.
Okay. All right. I guess I don't have to click quarterstaff both times. I can just hit the attack button for the second attack, huh?
Woo!
Oh, it's a crit, and that is a
one
hit.
Nice.
All right. So then I will do some damage to him.
Oh, you crack it in its little tiny weird head, and it just like goes limp a second and comes back.
Okay. Then I will unarmed strike to see if I can punch it in the face again.
Yeah, it's like a weeble wobble.
Yeah.
And you crit it again. Oh my god, Placebo, you have the bloodthirst. It's going.
Nice.
So 9 points of damage. It is still up,
Oh my goodness.
but it's missing a few pieces of bark around its face.
All right. I'm going to circle around it and
Got
stand
it.
there.
Cool. That works. And then the Artuks go. And the Artuks just were beating the crap out of. He's baned. But he's gonna go ahead and try to what is he going to do? He's just gonna hit you. He's gonna because they have honor. They are a warlike species. They will not give in.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna roll the bane unless I need to roll it, unless you want to for fun. So it's a minus D4, right?
That would still hit.
Think it's gonna hit no matter what, even though it was the best
will.
possible. Okay. So you will get hit. One of the spines one of the arms of spines comes down, just smacks you right in the face. Oh my god! Oh, that's the attack roll.
I was going to say, wow, that's a pretty hefty branch. I've absorbed so many branches the last few days, but that one.
That was 8 points. Yeah, it's like man,
that's a Tarrasque slaying branch.
Oh,
that is
long.
And then you see the water start to go to now. So you take 8 points to the face with a branch, and it is it's gonna stay right there. It actually likes where it's at. It's going to die. It starts to click and hiss to the other ones, and they click and hiss back. And I actually used the wrong one, but that's okay.
And Winston, we got a raid coming in from Distal's place, and all sorts of things are blowing up on screen. There's a bunch of follows happening. So,
holy cow! Yeah, thanks for first of all, thanks for the raid. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for posting emojis because they shoot all over our faces, and we like to see that.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. That's why we did it. It's to incentivize the stream crashing. Thank you all for coming by. We're playing a little bit of Spelljammer tonight. We're in the middle of a big misunderstanding. The party is murdering some plant creatures that got in their way, and that's what's happening right now. So, speaking of, I'm just kidding. They're being attacked by these plants. So the next Artok Wheedling is going to go after. Gosh, what is it going to do? I think it's going to shoot its tongue as a bonus action at you, Zeph. So I need a DC 11 dexterity saving throw. Huzzah! Otherwise, you are grappled.
No, grappled.
Oh my gosh!
My rolls are terrible tonight.
I thought of all people, you would definitely not be grappled, but that says restrained, but it's grappled. And then you're just gonna get.
One was that was attacking.
It's this one right here.
Okay. Can I make a sentinel attack on him because he's attacking someone other than me?
Is the tongue an attack? Well, you can't. I mean, he's attacking now, so yes, definitely.
Okay. I guess that doesn't actually roll it. I will roll it from the other screen. Sorry. It just shows that I can do it.
So yeah, so he's like wrapped his tongue all around Zeph, and he's like wailing on him with one of his branches. You will hit him in the face at the same time. So that
I say,
hits.
drop it. Let
It's
him
like,
go. Try.
and you hear like the rustling sound of its body. And then Zeph, does a 16 hit?
No.
What? Okay. This is going to be a strange fight tonight. I can feel it. That brings us to the next Artok. It's going to move in. Again, it doesn't see you. It doesn't see you, Koraz, so you are safe. And it's going to attack Ichabod. 15.
That does hit.
Just barely. And a 10, I'm sure it is not. Okay, these guys really only have a +1. I just feel like that's not right. I'm looking at this. It's supposed to be a +4. Somehow something broke. Like, there's no way they're
They're getting a
+1.
+4, aren't they? It says
Are
1d20 +2 +2.
Okay. Oh,
That's
he rolled
4?
a 6. I thought he rolled 9. Okay, my bad.
Oh.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can hurt you more. So 8 points of damage. There,
Okay.
Ichabod. Yeah, we do have a Ric Flair. If you subscribe to the channel, you get to hear a long Ric Flair noise, I think. Okay. So that is it for them, and then it is on to you, Zeph.
All right, so I'm grappled, but I'm not restrained.
That's right.
what
Yeah,
it is?
I that is what it is. I just didn't see a grapple token.
And was it this one that got me?
It is this one right here.
Ah. All right. Well, if I'm not restrained, I'm going to still take a swat at this guy because that's the one that has my hunter's mark on. So,
Yeah.
at least, let's see if we can roll above a 5 would be cool. No, we can't. I'll take my second swing.
Yeah.
Hit. I was having trouble too.
You hit this time.
Got him.
You're just like swirling around like a top, and like you finally like it's like a weed whacker.
So
23 hits.
I'm throwing in an extra 2d6. One of the d6s is from Hunter's Mark. The other is for my swarm. That plus.
That's actually enough.
Oh.
But yeah, so you kill it, and that poor head that was like kind of bobbing about, you slice it, and like the little weird head goes flying, and like this kind of like white, slightly green ooze just starts squirting out. It's very viscous, and the starfish goes limp and is dead.
As if just kind of like it was like a backward swing because he's got the one that he's grappled by. He just has to do a kind of a double take, like oh, ew.
Yeah, it's everywhere. All right. Any other
I
actions?
will clean it up.
I guess just like as an offhand thing, is there one of these Artoks that I could see that is like commanding the other ones, or seems to be sort of like, I don't know, the war chief or?
Yeah,
This
so
one's
this one's a
different.
little different looking.
Okay.
This one's a little different looking. It doesn't look tremendously different. It's not any bigger or anything, but definitely is slightly different coloration
Okay.
than the others.
That's my turn. You know, I guess as a bonus action, since I've got the bonus action left, I'll move my hunter's mark here.
Cool. That makes sense to me. Not that it matters. I'll take it off the dead guy. He's probably not baned anymore either. Okay. Cool. So yeah, then he is marketed. Yeah. Hey, thanks. Glitter bounce. Nice. Yeah, we'd like to do some actual plays in this channel. Let's do some Spelljammer right now. Having fun with it. I am, anyways. We'll see how the party feels at the end of this fight. So, speaking of Major Warwick, he's just got like, he tried to grapple this Artuk, and he is just like useless right now. And he's just gonna go. I don't know, what would he do? He's a GIF. He's just gonna try to grapple again. You know what? Let's do it. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna try to take the tongue off you.
Oh,
He's like, "Oh, you don't want that. Those are all bad." if you get the tongue, trust me. And so he tries to break you free. I think that will actually succeed. It's an athletics check of 12. Yeah, you are no longer restrained by the tongue. And he like pulls this weird like sticky tongue and he like shoves it back in the creature's mouth and like and you're no longer grappled.
That was a major help, Major.
Oh god. The dad jokes continue. Branch time on Crux. Crux is just like getting the shit kicked out of him. I really don't want to kill Crux. I joke about it, but he's
Oh,
gotta go.
sure you don't want to.
Oh my, I've been alive this long. I'm slowly turning into Richard Nixon. He's still alive. All right, Ichabod. It's your turn.
All right. I am going to use my universal speech to be understood by three
nice.
creatures within 60 feet. I'm going to choose the one who's different, and then also the two that are harrying poor Crux over there. So that's my action. Then, kind of as I'm doing that, I yell, "There are greater enemies for us to fight. We must not fight each other." And I will bonus action healing word Crux because he will not die.
He might have to retire though. So okay, cool. So this is gonna be one of your special inspirations I gave you. I'm assuming you want to use that. Actually, I shouldn't assume. Are you wanting to use one of your special motivational speech inspiration things on this, David, or do you want to just let it happen?
I'm sorry, my audio was cutting in and out as
No
you were-
worries. So, do you want to use one of your speech inspirations that I gave you?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think he
Okay.
wants to really make a good first impression with the first faction that they're.
So, give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about how you speaking. Are you the chat was, how does a blob speak? Telepathically, or do they just slap their body rhythmically in some weird but sexy interpretive way?
Yeah, I think we decided that it's vibrations through the slime, like, that mimics humanoid speech. It's not
Okay.
telepathic like our Thrycreen friends, but yeah, he's shouting in
Now,
a
for
stern
this-
voice, but
For your universal speech, can they speak back or they just understand you? For 1 hour.
That just allows him to be understood, and for I think you to understand them too, right? Or no?
it says they can magically understand me.
Okay.
I don't know that I can understand them. I will look in D&D Beyond, see if it goes into any more detail.
Sure.
It does not.
So, well,
they can understand me. I may not be able to understand them.
I'm going to interpret that I think you can't understand them, but you are also very this is your thing. Like, you're the negotiator, right? So you have a social skill. You definitely notice a change here. This one seems to be caught off guard by your presence, and like maybe some of that bloodlust is receding, but nothing's happened yet. Koraz.
So yeah, Koraz is going to stay kind of like, up against this tree with his carapace hiding him. So should I roll another stealth check to see if I'm still hidden?
Yes.
Do that. That's a 16. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast the sending spell to this one. So I'll display that in the VTT, and it's a short message of 25 words or less to a creature, or it says which you are familiar. Does that count as familiar because I can see him, or no? We're familiar. I don't know,
Dang it.
actually.
There are so many rules I'm having to call this game.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how.
I'm gonna say you could cast it to a creature you can see because that's a kind of familiarity, and then there's then somebody you know personally that's not around you. I think is what they're kind of getting at.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
And what
surely you
else-
can cast it to the person like you're looking at. You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So it says the creature hears a message in his mind, recognize you as the sender if it knows you, which it doesn't, and can answer back in a like manner immediately. So what I'm going to say is, he's offended you. Our leaders need to need to negotiate, because that's what honor demands.
Cool. So yeah, give me another persuasion check, and this time also with advantage because of how effective Ichabod's was. Oh yeah, I was looking for this.
18.
Okay, cool. 18. So again, like you're also registering a change, and what I'm gonna say,
Does he reply back at all?
can you reply back?
He can with the sending spell, yeah.
And will you understand it?
Uh,
The chat is wanting me to do.
It says the creature hears the message in its mind, recognize you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer back in a like manner immediately. So imagine it's like a psionic thing. I don't know. It's your call, DM.
I'm gonna say that I think sending doesn't translate. I think you're gonna hear like, and like you hear like this kind of clicky, hissy tree kind of. It sounds almost like twigs being snapped. I get the impression there's like some kind of twig thing in its mouth. It's like flicking and like snapping and like blowing air through. And unfortunately, I was hoping it would translate because I was gonna try to do the Little Shop of Horrors voice, but maybe another day.
Someone was wanting to hear Koraz's voice before too.
That's right.
So yeah,
That's true.
we didn't get to hear the Koraz accent, and there was someone asking for that. So
Oh Lord,
say it.
I need to remember to do it.
There it is.
Nice. So you'll hear that back, but then what'll happen next is because this creature, this star horror, is going to get its turn, and basically 2 turns, and it's gonna roll into the center here and start making a lot of noises. And what they're gonna do is they're going to stop the fight. They will surround you, but they're not trying to attack anymore. So I guess I'll put it this way: will you allow them to like? Do we want to pull out of initiative because they're moving to like get around you, but not necessarily to like fight you? So because they can't tell you what they're doing, but they're like kind of indicating that they're like their spines are putting their spines down, but then they're like forming a circle.
If they're backing down from combat, like Zeph will definitely kind of still guarded, but like cease the assault, I guess.
Okay.
And if Zeph does, then Placebo will. I kind of feel like we've been over there like bashing the crap out of creatures while everyone else is trying to, be diplomatic. So if you bring your weapon down, Placebo will too.
Koraz is gonna put it all 6 of his arms kind of out like this and just be like, explain everything to Ichabod and the party about how he picked up the thoughts, detected the thoughts, how our good friend Warwick offended their honor, and how Ichabod and myself were able to negotiate a ceasefire for the moment and negotiation. Or ceasefire and negotiation, guys. We're on it.
Nice. Okay, so we will drop out of initiative. I will, just in case initiative continues further, I'll position people kind of where they would sort of indicate for you to go, and if you all argue with this, you can move around or whatever. A couple things will happen. One, each of these creatures will they'll form a little perimeter. They'll throw Crux in the center next to Warwick. The one that appear to be some kind of a leader is going to roll over to the deceased Artuk, and it's going to kind of like gently caress its beat up head, or I guess its missing head. I'm not sure how this works. This might not actually function. Let me check a spell real quick. It's going to try to cast Revivify. I don't know if it can do that if its head's been taken off. It died in the
you're
last
the
minute.
one that said his head came off.
I
Maybe it's
know.
still hanging, like it's nearly headless. It's still hanging on by
No.
It's like when you have a dandelion and you try to like pop the top off, but you don't get like a really good hit on it.
I said the head went flying. It was gone. It can't restore missing body parts, so it tries to cast Revivify. And maybe it does like that invincible. I guess I shouldn't say, it might be spoilers, but like it puts the head on the creature and like does the Revivify, but just the spell fizzles and it's dead. And then all the other Artoks, they do kind of a gesture. They say the same kind of like clicky thing. You get the impression like maybe this was okay. It's good to die in battle. So that Artok will perish, and basically the Artoks will surround you, and you'll Koraz, since you're actually talking, like your charade is up. They'll push you into the center. And is there any way for you all to negotiate, talk with them? Because otherwise, this will be nonverbal.
I'm gonna ask our good friend, this guy.
Warwick.
How he spoke with them.
He's like, well, I will say that I've learned how to communicate pretty well. It's lots of clicks and hiss sounds out here in the wild. You pick it up after a bit.
What?
Oh no.
Are you sure you said what you thought you meant to say? They seemed quite angry with you.
Of course, like I said, I learned their language, and clearly I can communicate with them.
So did I pick up exactly what offensive thing he did or said, or?
Yeah. So they basically were like, "Look, this guy said that we were cowards, and because we wouldn't help with the Xaryxian."
Oh,
Okay.
that probably is what he intended to say.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm gonna.
There's
That's what
no
I'm gonna say.
misunderstanding.
I'm gonna say, yeah. Well, they're you offended their honor because you called them cowards. Does that translate well, or did you just call them wussies or something like that?
Well, I just said that if they truly are a warlike tribe, that they should want to fight the Xaryxians. It would be a great battle that would prove their honor.
Way more diplomatic than what they told me.
Would you
Languages
like me
that I'm sorry. I was just saying maybe it's one of those languages that has you need the double negative or you used a double grammar can be difficult in different languages.
Koraz, can you please assure them that our eager friend here meant no disrespect. He was trying to motivate, but failed miserably, and it was. We are deeply saddened and ashamed that we offended them because we have nothing but the utmost respect. And as he says this, Ichabod will kind of doff his hat and bow very low at the Artuks.
And I will use my Thrycreen psionic telepathy speaking ability to beam that into this guy's head and kind of point at the leader and explain that I am communicating for our captain, and that we wished that we could understand them so that we could communicate better so that we could both be better understood.
Is detect thoughts concentration?
Well, I'm not casting detect thoughts now.
Well, I was wondering though. If, I wonder
Oh,
if you
is
keep
it
it up.
concentration?
Like,
It
just
is
keep going.
concentration. It is concentration up to 1 minute, which I think is
okay.
probably past.
That's
yeah.
probably gone. Yeah, that's probably gone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's too bad.
I mean,
Sure.
I could cast it again.
No, I was just trying to understand
Oh.
if like there was like a way to
Oh,
hear.
What'd I do there? Whoops. I didn't mean to do that.
All
Oh my
right.
gosh, don't do
All right,
that.
it's on.
Place the template. Where is this happening? Something like this.
No.
Everybody hears squishy sounds and feels really weird for a minute.
The Phlox Inspector like arrives. It made you do it.
But yeah, I'll beam that into his head and just like, yeah, kind of say this is a message from our captain, and at the end just being like, we all wish we could find a way to communicate better because we feel this is a misunderstanding of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, I just want to shout out the chat. Yeah, I say this all the time. I'll probably talk about it again at the end. Like, definitely join the Discord. We're all gonna hop off and probably be in there in a minute to welcome you and show you around. We recruit for community games out of the Discord, so it's a great place to not just like talk about stuff, but also if you want to play in some games. We have 3 community games going on just this weekend. So and lots of the DMs you'll see on the channel DM those games. So, anyways, just wanted to say that. Saw that in the chat, trying to be like a good steward or whatever. So going back to the situation, so you beam this thought into this creature's head, and it's gonna start to like click and hiss, like all that noise stuff. And Warwick is listening intently, and the other Artuks are clicking back, like kind of almost in unison. And Warwick will say, "Oi, they said that we can go if we leave immediately."
But are they coming with us? Tell them, hey, losers, we got a Spelljammer. Let's go. Get in the ship.
Get in the ship.
With universal or whatever I cast, that universal languages, I
lasts
can
quite
for
some time.
up to an hour. I can understand everything they're saying.
Oh,
Is
you can
that-
understand them.
Is
Great.
that they can't understand me, but I can understand them. So is that in fact what they said?
Did I do
Is
that
that
backwards
because-
then?
Yeah, they put it backwards in the VTT because it says they magically understand you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is correct.
Okay.
I got it wrong the second
No
time.
worries. No worries. Yeah, no, you did it right. Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah. So they're kind of like they're clicking and hissing and rustling and all these things, and Warwick's like, oh, they want us to leave.
I'm going to remind the leader with my telepathic speech that honor demands that our leaders work out this offense. That in our culture that's what honor demands.
Okay. So give me one more persuasion check. And this will be
since
straight.
they can still understand me, and I would have heard Warwick's translation. I definitely think that Ichabod would still be speaking, knowing they can understand him. At least those 3 can understand him. And add that, like, we will, be happy to leave. We mean no disrespect, but it would be a great tragedy if we let this opportunity pass us by because of one creature's poor choice of words. Please, we beg for the chance to redeem ourselves and show that we can be capable allies.
Great. So you also give me a persuasion check.
All right.
Basically like helping.
Ugh.
Oh, a 4 is a 13. That's so huge. But it's still not quite high enough. You get the impression that they were like they're sympathetic, potentially, but not the ones to make the call. And they're just like, get the hell out of here. And so they're kind of like debating it. But then right in the middle of the debate, Zeph's glass of water for real starts to go like
Oh man.
And to go.
And they'll start to click and hiss, and what'll happen? I don't know why I'm doing this. You're gonna go, and one of the Artox is going to escort you to your ship, and the other ones are gonna flee because they're fleeing the Tarask. I'm just moving them just to kind of get them out of the way in case something happens. We don't. Hopefully, we'll not. If trash shows up, it's TPK. So you can't get out of here. You gotta leave.
Suddenly 8 people redeem a wandering monster.
8 Tarasks into the chat. So what's going to happen is one of the Artox is going to go with you and like lead you, and is basically going to join the ship. And the others are fleeing.
He's gonna have to, right, to get away from the Tarask, kind of.
He is, but you get the impression that maybe that was known and intentional, and so this Artok is going to join the crew.
Okay.
Give you another NPC. There's going to be like, I'm going to have to make some rules for like how many NPCs you can take on away missions.
How many red shirts were allowed?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I had to kill the Umber Hulk I gave you, so I feel so bad about that. Anyways, so you're running, and as you're escaping, basically like a Tarask has been sighted in the area, and like you've got to get the hell out of this spot. And I think that is going to be our cliffhanger. So we're going to pause there as you're fleeing to the ship. A Tarask is on the horizon. We are going to hold, and we'll be back to see what happens with the Artux, how the party is going to try to resolve the situation, what Warwick has to share with them and what he's learned, and some additional color on where everything went wrong. In next session, which is chapter 8, the Arena of Blood. So thank you all for coming to hang out with the Spelljammer crew tonight. I'm sure it's been posted 45 times, but just to say it one more time, come hang out in the Discord. A couple things Discord that are of interest. One, our schedule's there. So if you're ever like curious what we got going on in the channel, it's up there. It's the top under streaming schedule. A couple points to note. Our next game on this channel is actually on Wednesday. It's going to be Shadow of the Dragon Queen, which is a Dragonlance game. Really fun. My wife's in that. Alex is in that. David's in that.
Mhm.
A few other people are in that game. And it's very like, I don't know. To me, it's really cool. It's very different, kind of old school feel, old school fantasy. It's really interesting campaign that's run on Wednesday. Thursday is Dark Tower, which is a Goodman Games conversion. It's 5th edition for Dungeons and Dragons. It's on Dark Tower. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're running through community campaigns. And so the way that we do it, it's almost, I won't say it's West March. It's a little bit misleading, but it's a community-based game that has like over 30 players. I think by now it's probably over 40 or 50. And they play in different like pickup games, kind of like connected one-shots. There's tier 2, which is on Friday, which is the higher level players, which is running through Prince of the Apocalypse. And then Saturday and Sunday is tier 1, which is kind of more like just little like interesting quests in different parts of the Greyhawk world surrounding Hamlet. And so that's going on Saturday and Sunday. And then I'll be back on Monday with Eberron, my homebrew campaign. And Spelljammer will be back in 2 Mondays, assuming our schedule works out. And we'll be picking back up and see what's going on with all that stuff. So thank you, party, for making the game fun. I had a good time with this one today. And the Artox, the whole situation was nice. I didn't do the Seymour voice, but I will practice it for next time. I have a feeling it's going to come up. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out and for all the follows and everything today.
And we're going to pass a raid on to Better Than Gaming. They also are doing some Spelljammer stuff, so we're going to go drop in on them and see how their game is going. So follow us on over there, everybody. See you soon. Oops. Better Than Heroes. Better Than Heroes. There it is.
Bye-bye.
Zang.
Bye. Yeah, thank y'all. Enjoy.